Chapter 807. Having a high cultivation base is a sign of talent. Only those with low cultivation bases would say such useless things. Kill. Wang Haoxin was very decisive. As soon as she finished speaking, she pounced on Lu Ming and the others. Retreat. Lu Ming shouted and retreated quickly with Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin. You can't escape. Wang Haoxin landed and strode forward. Is that so? There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. He took a step forward and densely packed inscriptions suddenly appeared on the ground. Many large arrays appeared. Sword chi swept out, sabers whistled, and vines wrapped around them as they pounced on Wang Haoxin. You set up an inscription array here. Wang Haoxin roared and directly used bloodline fusion. She turned into a purple flame and rampaged in the array. Let's go quickly. Wang Haoxin is too strong, and her bloodline is nature type. After using bloodline fusion, it's extremely difficult to kill her. My inscription array probably won't be able to kill her. Lu Ming whispered. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin rose into the air and flew into the distance. Lu Ming had just broken through to the 6th level of inscription. It only took him half a day to inscribe an inscription array, and he couldn't kill Wang Haoxin. Lu Ming knew very well that Wang Haoxin could survive the Thunder Cauldron's attack because her vitality was too strong. This was the advantage of nature-type bloodlines. Lu Ming had just lost 50 years of his life. It was difficult for him to control the Thunder Cauldron and launch a second attack. If he forced himself to launch the attack, he would lose a lot of vitality in a short time. It would definitely affect his future cultivation and even his foundation. It would be difficult for him to improve in the future. The only thing he could do now was to trap Wang Haoxin and then retreat. The three of them flew in the direction of 9 dragons. Soon they had covered a distance of 100,000 miles. Little Qing Fatty, you two go to the Sky Vault Legacy grounds first. Lu Ming suddenly said. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin were slightly stunned. Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? You want to deal with Wang Haoxin alone? No way. Xian Yanqing could tell what was on Lu Ming's mind at one glance and rejected him flatly. That's right. That crazy woman is too strong. If you stay here alone, you'll just be throwing your life away. If you want to fight, let's fight together. Kong Jin said. Don't worry, I won't fight her recklessly. Her target is me, so I'll draw them away. You guys go to the Sky Vault ruins. We'll meet at the Sea Cloud sect in half a year. Lu Ming said. No, I won't agree. Xian Yanqing shook his head firmly. Listen to me. My inscription formation can't trap Wang Haoxin for too long. She will catch up with us soon. If it goes on like this, we will die in her hands sooner or later. Don't worry. I alone am 100% sure that I can get rid of Wang Haoxin. Lu Ming said. Oh. Xian Yanqing still shook his head. Fatty. Lu Ming looked at Kong Jin. Are you really 100% sure? Kong Jin asked. I'm 100% sure, but if the three of us work together, it won't even be 10%. Little Qing, listen to me. Lu Ming said. No, I want to follow you. Don't try to lie to me. Xian Yanqing said stubbornly. Lu Ming was speechless. He sighed and said, well, Fatty, you go first. Little Qing and I will draw Wang Haoxin away. After saying that, Lu Ming walked over and took Xian Yanqing's little hand. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly made a move. He stretched out his hand and tapped on Xian Yanqing's body a few times. Xian Yanqing did not expect Lu Ming to suddenly attack her. She was caught off guard. At this moment, her body slumped to the ground and she fell into a coma. Lu Ming supported Xian Yanqing and said to Kong Jin, Fatty, take Little Qing to the Sky Vault ruins. Kong Jin was dumbfounded. Hurry up. Don't worry, I'll be fine. It's just that this girl's temper is too stubborn, so I can only do this. She will wake up soon. Lu Ming looked at Fatty with bright eyes. Alright then, take care. Kong Jin sighed. This was the only way now. He also knew that it would be difficult for the three of them to escape Wang Haoxin's pursuit. Lu Ming might be able to do it alone. Lu Ming, if you don't come, I'll see you at the Sea Cloud sect in half a year. Fatty's true essence rolled up Xian Yanqing and quickly flew away. His voice came from afar. Lu Ming landed and sat cross-legged on a mountain peak. He continued to devour spirit crystals to recover his true essence. The 9 dragons' bloodline crazily devoured the spirit crystals. His true essence was quickly recovering. 60%, 70%, 80%. 2 hours later, Lu Ming's true essence had recovered to 80%. At this time, a purple light flashed in the distance. Wang Haoxin's figure appeared in the air. At this time, her breath was a little chaotic and her face was a little pale. Obviously, she had paid a price to break out of those large arrays. You're alone. You want to hold me back and let the other two escape? What a good plan. However, I'll kill you soon and then I'll kill the other two. Wang Haoxin sneered. Oh, come and kill me if you can. Lu Ming smiled. Wang Haoxin snorted, but she did not land. She was afraid that Lu Ming would inscribe an inscription array below. I won't go down. I'll kill you all the same. Wang Haoxin sneered and waved her fists. The roaring flame fist burst out and attacked Lu Ming. Lu Ming turned and left. He used the 9 dragons in the sky and chose a different direction from Xian Yanqing and strode away. You want to leave? Not so easy. Wang Haoxin turned into a fiery light and continued to chase Lu Ming. Wang Haoxin's movement technique was not to be underestimated. Her speed was extremely fast. Although Lu Ming used the 9 dragons in the sky, he could only take 4 steps in a row. His level was still a little low. Although he had extreme speed, it was only comparable to Wang Haoxin's. The two of them, one chasing and one escaping, were far away in the blink of an eye. Soon, the two of them had flown a distance of a few million miles. Wang Haoxin was still hot on Lu Ming's tail. Hey beauty, you want to catch me so badly? I already have a sweetheart. Lu Ming shouted as he used the 9 dragons in the sky. You're courting death. Wang Haoxin shouted angrily. Along the way as Lu Ming fled, he did not forget to use various words to attack her. She was so angry that her lungs almost exploded. Her murderous intent toward Lu Ming intensified. This woman is too damn difficult to deal with. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and continued flying. In front of him, a boundless mountain forest appeared in front of him. The trees in this forest were exceptionally tall. Strangely, the trees were all black. Even the leaves were black. It was extremely strange. As he approached the forest, he could hear thunderous roars from the forest. The roars of monsters were full of ferocity. Lu Ming rushed in without hesitation. As soon as he rushed in, Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He felt that his body seemed to be more than 10 times heavier. There was a kind of pressure between heaven and earth that was pressing down on him, greatly reducing his speed. At least 10 times slower. But now he could only try his best to move forward. Chapter 808. What is this place? Lu Ming's mind spun rapidly as he moved forward. Before he could fly far, a black tiger-shaped beast rushed out from below and pounced at him. This tiger-shaped beast was hairless, but it was covered in black scales. Its eyes were blood red, and there was no sign of intelligence. Instead, it was filled with savagery. The wind howled. This tiger-shaped beast had the battle prowess of a peak king. Lu Ming took a step forward and a trace of power burst out. This tiger-shaped beast was directly blasted down, falling to the ground below, causing debris to fly everywhere. Lu Ming's speed did not slow down at all as he moved forward rapidly. Behind him, Wang Haoxin chased closely. However, in this forest, the two's speed was much slower. Moreover, there were fierce beasts pouncing at the two from time to time, causing them to be unable to fly at full speed. Moreover, the deeper they flew, the higher the level of the fierce beasts that appeared. In the beginning, the beasts that appeared were all peak king level beasts. Towards the end, the beasts that appeared were equivalent to the first and second layer of the spiritual sea realm. These beasts did not have any intelligence and were filled with savagery. When they saw them, they would pounce at them. The two chased and fled. After half a day, they had only flown tens of thousands of miles. This forest was boundless and they were still in the forest. Mad Beast Forest. Lu Ming, you've come to the Mad Beast Forest? Suddenly, a voice sounded in Lu Ming's mind. This voice was not Dandan's but Supreme 9 Sons. Senior 9 Sons. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Ever since he saw Liao Tsang in the underground world, Supreme 9 Sons had woken up once, and then he continued to sleep. He did not expect to wake up now. Senior 9 Sons, is this called the Mad Beast Forest? Lu Ming communicated with Supreme 9 Sons. You should have arrived at 9 Dragon City, right? This should be the Mad Beast Forest. I left something here back then and it resonated with me. That's why I woke up from my sleep. Supreme 9 Sons' voice sounded in Lu Ming's mind. He continued, looks like you're being chased. Being chased by a crazy woman. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. How about this, you can hide in the Temple of Paragon for a while. Supreme 9 Yang said. Entering the Temple of Paragon? Lu Ming was stunned. In the past, Supreme Master Jiao Yang had set up restrictions in the Temple of Paragon so that he wouldn't be able to enter the Temple of Paragon when he was in danger. His goal had been to train him, but now he had taken the initiative to let him enter the Temple of Paragon. As if he had seen Lu Ming's confusion, Supremacy Jiao Yang said, in the past, I just wanted to train you. I didn't want you to rely too much on the Temple of Paragon. If you were in danger, you would hide in the Temple of Paragon. That way you wouldn't be as strong as you used to be. You would lose the opportunity to train yourself. But now your cultivation level isn't bad. You've experienced a lot and gained a lot of experience. Your martial heart is stable. So this kind of restriction doesn't mean anything to you. In the future, you can enter the Temple of Paragon whenever you want. You can also let other people in. Supreme Nine Yang explained. Lu Ming nodded. He was overjoyed. There were no restrictions in the Temple of Paragon, and he could bring other people in. That would be very useful to him. Lu Ming, don't be happy too early. The Temple of Paragon was my weapon back then. After you entered the Temple of Paragon just disappeared into the void. So, other people can't see it. However, your cultivation level isn't weak now. The enemies you meet in the future will be stronger. Spiritual embryo realm cultivators can sense the void. Even if you hide in the Temple of Paragon, you'll be discovered and forced out. On the other hand, domain enlightened spirit gods are even capable of tearing space apart at will. So, hiding in the Temple of Paragon when encountering such an expert would only be like catching a turtle in a jar and falling into a passive state. So one's own strength is the way to go. Supreme Nine Yang reminded him seriously. I understand. Lu Ming nodded. However, Lu Ming didn't plan to hide in the Temple of Paragon now. Only half a day had passed. If he hid in the Temple of Paragon now and Wang Haoxian couldn't find him, she might go after Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin. Lu Ming planned to delay Wang Haoxian. After a few days, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin would refine all the fire aura Wang Haoxian had left on them. After entering the Sky Vault ruins, it would be difficult for Wang Haoxian to find Xian Yanqing and the others. It would be almost impossible. Only then would Lu Ming be at ease. So Lu Ming didn't enter the Temple of Paragon. Instead, he dragged Wang Haoxian and continued flying in the wild beast forest. As they flew, Lu Ming talked to Supreme Nine Yang. Senior Nine Yang, why is this forest so strange? Not only is there a lot of pressure here, even the demonic beasts don't have intelligence and are extremely fierce. Lu Ming asked curiously. Normally, King Realm demonic beasts could speak, and Sea of Soul Realm demonic beasts could transform into human form. However, along the way, Lu Ming had already met a lot of Sea of Soul Realm demonic beasts. Not to mention transforming into human form, none of them could even speak. There are many strange places in the world and the wild beast forest is one of them. Legend has it that a long time ago, the blood of a peerless expert was scattered here, covering a radius of 1,000,000 miles. The blood contained the murderous aura, resentment and murderous aura of a peerless expert. The blood turned this place into a forbidden land, and the earth's structure changed. It was filled with a strange energy field that suppressed any living being that entered. At the same time, the demonic beasts here were affected by the murderous aura, resentment and murderous aura in the blood and became extremely fierce. They lost their intelligence and became ferocious demonic beasts that only know how to kill. That's why it's called the Wild Beast Forest. Supreme Nine Yang explained. Lu Ming understood, but he was shocked. This place was actually caused by the blood of a peerless expert. The blood covered a radius of 1,000,000 miles and changed the earth's structure. In the endless years to come, the demonic beasts would be affected by the murderous aura and become wild beasts. How powerful was that? What kind of realm was that? It was impossible for a martial emperor expert to do that. It was definitely an existence that surpassed the martial emperor realm. But now, was there such a powerful existence in the world? In the divine wilderness continent, martial emperors were revered, and martial emperors were synonymous with invincibility. They were the strongest experts. Perhaps, there were existences that surpassed the martial emperor realm outside the divine wilderness continent? He thought of the autumn moon. It was very likely that the autumn moon had been taken away by the experts outside the divine wilderness continent. Lu Ming, I built a temporary cave in the wild beast forest and left many things inside. They should be of great help to you. Supreme Nine Yang spoke again, which made Lu Ming's heart beat faster. Who was Supreme Nine Yang? He was a martial emperor, the strongest expert below the martial emperor realm. He was at the peak of the spiritual god realm. How shocking would the things he left behind be? Chapter 809. Everyone had plans to leave a way out for themselves. Paragon 9 Sons was no exception. Before his accident, he had left behind a few hidden caves in various places. There was one in the wild beast forest. Apart from Supreme Nine Yang himself, no one else knew about this secret cave. He had woken up from his slumber when he was near Supreme Nine Yang's cave. Supreme Nine Yang told Lu Ming the approximate location. I'll go in 2 days. I'll delay Wang Haoxin for a few days. Lu Ming thought. For the next 3 days, Lu Ming didn't go deep into the wild beast forest. He led Wang Haoxin around the forest. After 3 days their speeds were about the same. Lu Ming couldn't shake Wang Haoxin off, and Wang Haoxin couldn't catch up with Lu Ming. I don't believe that your true origin energy is stronger than mine. Wang Haoxin screamed. She was so angry that her eyes were burning. It had been 3 days. She had chased Lu Ming for 3 days. Her killing intent towards Lu Ming hadn't lessened. Instead, it had intensified. It's about time to shake her off. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It had been almost 4 days. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin should have already refined the flame aura left by Wang Haoxin and entered the Sky Archipelago. Lu Ming planned to shake Wang Haoxin off and head to Supreme Nine Yang's cave. Whoosh! Lu Ming took a few steps forward and flew forward rapidly. A lake appeared in front of him. Lu Ming dashed into the lake and entered the Temple of Paragon with a single thought. It's not that easy to escape from the bottom of the lake. The next moment, Wang Haoxin caught up with Lu Ming and struck him with his palm. Scorching flames spread out and the entire lake evaporated instantly. There was endless fog between heaven and earth. All that was left was the dry bottom of the lake, and Lu Ming had disappeared without a trace. Damn it! Did he escape from the ground? Don't even think about it. Wang Haoxin roared and punched out. The ground cracked and rocks and dirt flew everywhere. However, Lu Ming was nowhere to be seen. Wang Haoxin went crazy and began to search the surroundings. Lu Ming was too lazy to care about all of this. He started devouring spiritual crystals in the Temple of Paragon to recover. 2 days later, Lu Ming's cultivation had completely recovered, and he was back to his peak condition. At this moment, he left the Temple of Paragon. Wang Haoxin had already disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming quickly headed in the direction that Supreme Nine Yang had mentioned. After flying for thousands of miles, Lu Ming suddenly rushed into the forest below. With a wave of his hands, the inscription formation to restrain his aura appeared on his body and completely restrained his aura. Soon he saw Wang Haoxin flying in the sky with a gloomy face. This woman really wouldn't give up until she was dead. After that, Lu Ming didn't fly in the sky anymore. Instead, he shuttled through the forest. With the inscription formation to restrain his aura, he could easily avoid the demonic beasts. Lu Ming's speed was still very fast. An hour later, Lu Ming ran for thousands of miles and appeared at the bottom of a huge cliff. Senior Nine Yang, the entrance to the cave you mentioned is on the cliff? Why didn't I find it? Lu Ming asked. There's a mark on the cliff. The entrance is there. Supreme Nine Yang's voice sounded. Lu Ming walked over. True enough, there was a notch on one of the cliff walls. Lu Ming observed it carefully and pushed it with his hand, but it didn't move at all. It didn't seem like there was an entrance. Similarly, Lu Ming didn't find any traces of inscriptions. Lu Ming, I've set up an array that alternates between illusion and reality here. This array is extremely mysterious. If you treat this place as something substantial, it will be substantial. If you think of it as an illusion in your heart, then this cliff doesn't exist. It will be an illusion. When you take a step forward, you will naturally enter the cave abode. Supreme Nine Yang said. It's actually an array. Lu Ming exclaimed. This array was very advanced. Even Lu Ming didn't know how to use it now. Setting up such an array to protect the cave could be said to be foolproof. For example, if you set up an array at the entrance of a cave, this array would make the cave and the surrounding environment look exactly the same. When ordinary people saw it, they would only think that it was a mountain. Even if they walked over, they would feel that it was a mountain. However, if you thought that this place was a cave, you would be able to enter the cave if you walked over. It was extremely mysterious. Therefore, even if people came here over the years, they wouldn't stare at a cliff and think that it was a cave and that it was an entrance unless they knew about it. Moreover, the inscription array could perfectly integrate with the surrounding environment. It was very difficult to sense the existence of inscriptions. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Then he strode toward the cliff. Just as he was about to hit his head on the cliff, he saw that the cliff seemed to be empty. Lu Ming's body simply disappeared from the cliff. Lu Ming stepped in and discovered that he had appeared in a huge cave abode. The cave was quite big, but it was very simple. There was only a stone bed, a stone table and a few stone stools. On the table there was a jade box, and in the jade box there were a few storage rings. In the innermost part of the cave there were 2 small trees. The trees were as tall as a person. The leaves were dark green and emitted a strange aura. On the small trees there were a few fruits. The soul-consolidating tree really bore fruit. Supreme Nine Yang's figure appeared. Looking at the 2 little trees, he let out a look of joy. Soul consolidating tree? Lu Ming was a little puzzled. The soul consolidating tree and the soul consolidating fruit are very helpful to the spirit god and even the soul. I got them by accident and planted them here. I didn't expect them to bear fruit. With these two soul consolidating trees and the soul consolidating fruit, I can recover part of my soul power. Supreme Nine Yang explained. Congratulations, Senior. Lu Ming was also overjoyed. He also hoped that Supreme Nine Yang could recover. Lu Ming, during this period of time, I will recuperate under the soul consolidating tree. I reckon it will take some time. In those storage rings there are some things that I left here back then. Although there are no peerless treasures, they should be useful to you. After Supreme Nine Yang finished speaking, he flew to the two soul consolidating trees and plucked a fruit. He held it in his hand and sat down cross-legged. Lu Ming sized it up and walked to the stone table. He picked up one of the storage rings and sank his consciousness into it. In the next moment, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The storage ring was full of spirit weapons and all kinds of refining materials. Among them, most of the spirit weapons were of the 6th grade. There were also 7th grade and even 8th grade spirit weapons. Shocking, too shocking. One had to know that the full power of a 7th grade spirit weapon could only be unleashed by someone in the spirit embryo realm. As for 8th grade spirit weapons, they could only be unleashed by someone in the spirit god realm. Not only did the storage ring have them, there were also quite a few of them. As for those crafting materials, they were all rare materials. If these spirit weapons and refining materials were taken out, their value would be immeasurable. Lu Ming put them away happily. Chapter 8:10. The second storage ring was filled with elixirs, various spiritual herbs and spiritual herbs. All of them were of high grade. There were grade 6, grade 7 and even grade 8 elixirs. All of them were stored in jade boxes and sealed with an array to prevent their spiritual essence from leaking out. Lu Ming's saliva almost flowed out of his mouth. He hurriedly looked at the third storage ring. There were a total of 3 storage rings here. The third storage ring contained some miscellaneous items. Lu Ming's gaze was immediately attracted by the pile of raw stones that resembled a mountain. Yes, raw stones piled up like a mountain. He didn't know how many there were. On the other side there were large metal boxes. When he opened them, they were filled with esoteric crystals. There were all kinds of esoteric crystals, and all of them were mid-grade esoteric crystals. There were more than 100,000 of them. More than 100,000 mid-grade esoteric crystals. What kind of concept was that? Lu Ming's heart thumped loudly. Rich, really rich. Supreme Nine Sons indeed. Supreme Nine Sons said that there were no treasures, but in Lu Ming's eyes they were all treasures. How long would these resources be enough for Lu Ming? Senior Nine Sons, I will definitely make good use of these resources. Lu Ming said in his heart. Then, his consciousness sank into the storage ring filled with elixirs and spiritual herbs, carefully inspecting them. This is Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He found 2 large jade bottles filled with Xiantian origin liquid. Moreover, they were all high-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Each bottle weighed at least 100 jin. In total, there were 200 jin of Xiantian origin liquid. This was a supreme spiritual liquid for cultivating one's physical body. This is Mother Spring Water. Lu Ming recognized a treasure in the other jade bottle. Mother Spring Water was a kind of spiritual liquid that was even more precious than high-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Haha, this Mother Spring Water is perfect for nurturing the Enlightenment Ancient Tree. With a thought from Lu Ming, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree appeared on the ground. Lu Ming took out the Mother of Water Spirit Spring and poured the entire bottle onto the profound yellow silicon soil. Lu Ming was looking forward to seeing if the Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree could grow with this bottle of Mother Spring Water. Then he put the Enlightenment Ancient Tree into the Temple of Paragon. Then he looked at it in his storage ring. Green lotus fruit, snake flower, underworld ean grass. Lu Ming looked at the spiritual grasses one by one. Suddenly his eyes lit up. With a flick of his wrist, a jade box appeared in his hand. It's actually underworld ean grass. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up into a sneer. He recalled a type of medicine called dark ean powder. He had learned about this medicine when he refined the spiritual fire of the 7-colored Taoist. The netherworld ean powder was specifically used to deal with women. As long as a woman breathed in even a little bit, she would lose all strength and be unable to circulate her Zhen Yuan. She would be at the mercy of others. The main ingredient of the netherworld ean powder was the underworld ean grass. Originally, Lu Ming wasn't interested in this kind of medicine. However, when he saw the underworld ean grass, he thought of Wang Haoxian. Didn't Wang Haoxian want to kill him? Then he would let her have a taste of the underworld grass. Immediately, Lu Ming selected a few supplementary herbs and began to refine the netherworldine powder. 2 hours later, Lu Ming successfully refined the netherworldine powder. Wang Haoxin, I hope you haven't left yet. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He then left the cave and appeared outside the cliff. Then Lu Ming flew into the sky. Now he wanted to take the initiative to look for Wang Haoxin. Lu Ming flew quickly in the sky and circled around the area. More than an hour later, Lu Ming's eyes moved. In front of him, a fiery light flashed rapidly. It was Wang Haoxin. Lu Ming, I finally found you. Wang Haoxin screamed. Her face was hideous. She was obviously beautiful, but at this moment there was no sense of beauty at all. Wang Haoxin, you've been chasing me for a few days. Do you miss me so much? Why don't you forget about your brother's revenge and be my concubine? Lu Ming chuckled and deliberately provoked Wang Haoxin. You're courting death. Wang Haoxin shouted angrily and rushed over quickly. She didn't think much about why Lu Ming didn't run away. She was furious now. I, Lu Ming, am a genius. It won't be a disgrace for you to be my concubine. Lu Ming continued to provoke Wang Haoxin. Sure enough, Wang Haoxin was even angrier. She pounced on Lu Ming in an instant and threw a punch at him. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming performed the hell-suppressing heaven skill and struck out with his palm. In this palm, a wisp of underworldine powder spread toward Wang Haoxin. Bang! The fist and the palm collided. Lu Ming's body trembled and he quickly retreated. He felt his blood and qi surging and he almost vomited blood. I hope it works. Lu Ming thought. Wang Haoxin's body was surrounded by raging flames that could burn everything. However, the underworldine powder contained the qi of the underworld. It was extremely cold and could resist the burning of the flames. Die. After Wang Haoxin punched Lu Ming back, she threw out another punch. Lu Ming once again raised his palm and this time, a wisp of underworldine powder spread out. Wang Haoxin was furious and didn't notice it at all. In this way, Lu Ming and Wang Haoxin exchanged 5 moves in a row. Lu Ming was pushed back 5 kilometers and spat out a mouthful of blood. No, the underworldine powder will probably take a while to take effect. Let's go first. Lu Ming turned around and ran. Don't even think about running. Wang Haoxin chased after him. One chased and one fled. In a short while they had flown thousands of miles. Wang Haoxin, who was chasing, suddenly changed her expression. Her body trembled and she almost fell to the ground. It's working. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He stopped and turned around to look at Wang Haoxin with a sneer. What did you do to me? Wang Haoxin glared at Lu Ming. Nothing. Just a little bit of poison. Now do you feel weak all over and can't use your true essence? Lu Ming sneered. You, despicable. Wang Haoxin's face turned pale. Despicable? Do you think I can be as despicable as your Wang family? Now you're the one who's going to die. Lu Ming stepped out and attacked Wang Haoxin. Wang Haoxin gritted her teeth and turned around to run. Lu Ming chased after her. However, Wang Haoxin had been poisoned by the underworldine powder, and it was getting harder and harder for her to use her true essence. Her speed was greatly reduced. Gradually she couldn't even fly. She landed on the ground and trembled all over. Boom. Lu Ming also landed. He took a step forward and blasted a palm toward Wang Haoxin. At this time Wang Haoxin couldn't use her true essence at all. She could only use her intent realm to resist. However, without true essence, her intent realm was extremely limited. Lu Ming destroyed Wang Haoxin's intent realm with one punch. Wang Haoxin groaned and her body flew far away. She fell to the ground and spat out blood. Her face was pale. Kill? Lu Ming stepped out, his murderous intent surging. Wang Haoxin closed her eyes in despair. She didn't expect that she wouldn't be able to kill Lu Ming in revenge for Wang Haoxin. Instead she would be killed. However, after waiting for a while, she didn't feel Lu Ming's palm landing. She couldn't help but open her eyes, only to see Lu Ming looking at her carefully. His eyes flashed with lust from time to time. Chapter 8:11. Wang Haoxin's heart sank. Lu Ming, kill me if you want. If you humiliate me, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Wang Haoxin screamed. Humiliate you? You think too much. Lu Ming said coldly. He didn't kill Wang Haoxin because he thought of a better way. He thought of an inscription array that he learned from Liao Tsang, the soul-splitting array. This array was very powerful. If it was engraved in a person's mind, it could penetrate his soul. The person who engraved the array would have complete control over his life and death. Wang Haoxin was very strong in both talent and combat strength. If he could control her, it would be very useful. He could get a lot of useful information from her. However, to engrave such an array, the target must be defenseless. Wang Haoxin couldn't use her genuine qi and was weak. It was the perfect time to do it. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming pointed at Wang Haoxin's body and completely sealed her. Not only could she not use her genuine qi, but she couldn't even use her will and spiritual fire. Then Lu Ming took out a drop of Wang Haoxin's blood. Blue spiritual fire spread out from his finger and he started to engrave inscriptions in the void. What are you doing? Wang Haoxin said in a trembling voice. She was really panicking. However, Lu Ming didn't care about her and focused on engraving. Lines of inscriptions entered between Wang Haoxin's eyebrows. Wang Haoxin felt that there were more things in her mind and her face became paler. The soul-splitting array was very complicated. It contained 18,000 lines of inscriptions. Lu Ming spent an hour to complete it. Phew. Lu Ming exhaled. Tell me, what did you do to me? Wang Haoxin shouted. I just engraved an array. This array is called the soul-splitting array. It can penetrate your soul and contain my spiritual fire. As long as I use my mind, the soul-splitting array can tear your soul and turn you into an idiot. Lu Ming laughed. Wang Haoxin's face turned even paler. She screamed, You are despicable. You are shameless. You will die a horrible death. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He extended his finger like the wind and tapped on Wang Haoxin's body, releasing her seal. Then he sat down cross-legged and waited quietly. He was waiting for Wang Haoxin to recover. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. Boom. Wang Haoxin's body emitted terrifying flames. Her killing intent was as cold as ice. Lu Ming, your biggest mistake is that you didn't kill me. Now die. Wang Haoxin bellowed. Really? Did you forget that I inscribed the soul-splitting array in your mind? Lu Ming sneered. I don't care what you've engraved. Once I kill you, everything will be solved. Wang Haoxin's figure moved, charging towards Lu Ming. But in the next moment, Wang Haoxin's body stiffened, and a painful expression appeared on his face. A painful scream came out of Wang Haoxin's mouth. She held her head and rolled on the ground. Stop, stop. Wang Haoxin screamed, seeming to be in extreme pain. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stopped controlling the soul-splitting array. Only then did Wang Haoxin stop. She knelt on the ground and panted heavily. In just a short while, her body was drenched in cold sweat. Her thin clothes stuck to her body, accentuating her curvaceous figure. Her face was pale. She looked at Lu Ming in horror and shouted, You're despicable, you're shameless. Kill me if you dare. Kill you? Why would I kill you? You're very useful to me when you're alive. Lu Ming chuckled. Moreover, let me tell you, the soul-splitting array was created by my spiritual fire. It is completely controlled by my will. As long as I want it, it will activate. Moreover, don't even think about asking the elders of your Wang clan to undo it for you. Other than me, no one can undo it. If you try to forcefully undo it, the soul-splitting array will tear apart your soul and turn you into an idiot. Lu Ming's words made Wang Haoxin's face turn even paler. What are you trying to do? Wang Haoxin said in despair. It's very simple. You just have to stay by my side and be my maid in the future. Lu Ming said faintly. What? Be your maid? Dream on. I'd rather die than be your maid. Wang Haoxin screamed. Who was she? She was the pride of the Wang family and a famous beauty in Jiolong City. She was both beautiful and talented. Countless people fancied her. She was a god-level genius who was respected by many. As long as she continued to walk like this, she would have a great chance of becoming a spirit god in the future. Now, Lu Ming actually asked her to be his servant girl. How could she possibly agree and accept this? She would rather die than submit. You'd better agree. As long as I think about it, the soul-splitting array will turn you into an idiot. Believe it or not, I'll sell you to a brothel after turning you into an idiot. TSK. Countless men will go crazy if the god-level genius, Wang Haoxin, works as a prostitute in a brothel. Lu Ming sneered. Wang Haoxin's face was pale without a trace of blood. Her body trembled violently. If that was really the case, it would be a great humiliation for her. It would be 10 times or 100 times worse than killing her. She looked at Lu Ming with fear and a strong murderous intent in her eyes. She really wanted to kill Lu Ming with one move, but she didn't dare to. No matter how fast she attacked, it was impossible for her to be faster than Lu Ming's thoughts. She was really afraid that Lu Ming would turn her into an idiot and sell her to a brothel. I forgot to tell you something. The soul-splitting array is closely related to me. As long as I die, the soul-splitting array will automatically explode. So, don't think about killing me. You have to protect me in the future. Understand? Lu Ming said. Wang Haoxin was even more desperate. What do you want me to do? Let me tell you, if you want to do something to me or something that I can't do, I'd rather die than submit. Wang Haoxin gritted her teeth and agreed. Lu Ming smiled and strode forward. He reached out and gently lifted Wang Haoxin's chin. Wang Haoxin's body trembled and her eyes flashed with killing intent. She was really humiliated. The anger in her heart was about to burn her whole body. It was too sullen. Lu Ming was the enemy who killed her brother. She came here to kill Lu Ming for revenge. However, in the end, not only did she fail to kill Lu Ming, but she also fell into Lu Ming's hands. She even had to become Lu Ming's maid and listen to his orders. Not only that, but she also had to protect his safety. Was there anything more sullen in the world than that? Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. Lu Ming smiled faintly and took a few steps back. Such an understatement made Wang Haoxin so angry that her body heaved up and down. Her towering breasts trembled for a while. To be honest, Wang Haoxin was very beautiful. She could be called a peerless beauty with graceful curves. Countless geniuses pursued her. Now that Lu Ming said he was not interested, it was an invisible blow to Wang Haoxin. What I want you to do is very simple. In the future, stay with me in this wild beast forest and hunt demonic beasts to obtain their blood essence. In the future, you have to come here every 7 days to hand in 70% of the blood essence of demonic beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. For now, just do this one thing. Chapter 8:12. Since there was a free fighter, he naturally had to make full use of it. In the wild beast forest, there were countless powerful beasts. If he went to hunt beasts and devour their blood essence, the speed would be too slow. With Wang Haoxin by his side, he would be able to devote more energy to cultivation. Okay, I promise you. Wang Haoxin gritted her teeth. This request was not difficult, so she could accept it. She was afraid that Lu Ming would make some unreasonable request, such as warming the bed. 7 days to hand over 7 portions of blood essence of beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm. On average, killing 1/5 layer spiritual sea realm beast per day would be enough. This was not difficult for her. After 7 days we'll meet here. If you come, I'll take it that you betrayed me, and I'll directly activate the soul-splitting formation. Lu Ming said coldly. Then his figure flashed and he left. Lu Ming, Lu Ming. Wang Haoxin's eyes flashed with shocking killing intent. Her body trembled violently, and her beautiful face was about to twist. She hated, she was furious. After a while, she took a deep breath and calmed herself down. She planned to listen to Lu Ming's instructions for the time being. In the future, she would find a chance to get the method to break the formation from Lu Ming, and then kill Lu Ming. But first, she had to endure the humiliation. Thinking of this, she completely calmed down. Her figure flashed, and she also left to hunt beasts. Lu Ming naturally did not know what Wang Haoxin was thinking. Even if he knew, he would not care. He was confident that after a while, he would surpass Wang Haoxin in terms of battle strength. Returning to Supreme Nine Yang's cave, Supreme Nine Yang was still sitting cross-legged under the soul-consolidating tree. It seemed like it would take some time. Lu Ming took out a pile of origin stones and sat cross-legged. The 9 dragons' bloodline appeared, and he devoured 100 origin stones in one go. Then he used all his strength to refine and increase his true origin. After refining 100 origin stones, another 100 origin stones. Rumble. In the spiritual sea, the waves roared, overturning rivers and seas. When Lu Ming refined 800 origin stones, the area of the spiritual sea doubled again. Lu Ming's cultivation entered the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm. Then he continued to refine the origin stone. After another 4 days, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the peak of the 3rd layer of the spiritual ocean tier. At the peak of the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm, Lu Ming had reached a bottleneck. If he wanted to advance further, he would have to train both the earth concept and the thunder concept to the lower tier of the 2nd level before he could continue to advance. 7 days have passed. Let's go and see if Wang Haoxin has brought back the blood essence. With a thought, Lu Ming left the cave and went to the place where he and Wang Haoxin had agreed to meet last time. From afar, Wang Haoxin could be seen sitting cross-legged. Her entire body was surrounded by a layer of fire, making her look like a goddess of fire. To be honest, Wang Haoxin, who was cultivating with her eyes closed and had no killing intent, was still very beautiful. Flames danced around her, giving her a mesmerizing feeling. When Lu Ming arrived, Wang Haoxin opened her eyes. Have you obtained the blood essence of the demonic beasts? Lu Ming asked with a smile. Here. Wang Haoxin waved her hand, and 7 jade bottles flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming picked up a jade bottle and looked inside. There were 9 drops of blood essence that looked like blood-red pearls. It was the blood essence of the demonic beast. If the blood essence of demonic beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier was taken out and sealed in a jade bottle, it could be kept for a month without dissipating. The more powerful the being, the stronger the energy and activity of the blood essence, and the longer it could be kept. After throwing the blood essence to Lu Ming, Wang Haoxin turned and left. Stop. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Wang Haoxin's body trembled. She turned around and looked at Lu Ming, saying, "What do you want now? Don't forget your identity. You are now my maid." Is this how a maid treats her master? Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and said with a smile. Wang Haoxin gritted her teeth, glaring at Lu Ming with hatred. What do you want? Wang Haoxin gritted her teeth. A maid should have the attitude of a maid. Otherwise I will make you warm my bed. Lu Ming's lips curled into an evil smile. Don't even think about it. Wang Haoxin's face was red with anger. Her eyes widened, and after a while she finally gave in. She bowed slightly, gnashing her teeth, and said, Young Master Lu Ming, I will take my leave." Saying this seemed to take all of Wang Haoxin's strength. She was panting slightly. Again, if you are not sincere enough and you are gnashing your teeth like this, people who don't know will think that you want to eat me, and think that there is some deep hatred between us. Say it properly, and remember your attitude must be sincere. You must treat me as a young master from the bottom of your heart, a young master who is respected by you. Do you understand? Lu Ming started giving instructions. Wang Haoxin almost spat out blood. She roared in her heart, "There is a deep hatred between us, okay? And you want to be sincere? Oh." If she was not controlled by the formation, she would chop Lu Ming into pieces. How could she be sincere? "Young Master Lu Ming, I will take my leave." Wang Haoxin took a deep breath and then spoke. Her voice was softer than before. "Forget it, just SOSO. Practice more in the future. Go." Lu Ming waved his hand discontentedly. This made Wang Haoxin's chest rise and fall again. She kept telling herself in her heart, "Endure, you must endure. Only by enduring can you have a chance to take revenge on Lu Ming later." After Wang Haoxin left, Lu Ming also returned to the cave residence. Then he opened the 7 jade bottles one by one. Of the 7 blood essences, 5 were from the 5th layer of the spiritual sea tier, and 2 were from the 6th layer of the spiritual sea tier. The 9 dragons' bloodline opened its mouth, swallowed all the blood essences and began to refine them. Now Lu Ming used all the blood essences to upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline. First he would upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline to the divine grade. Then he would have 2 divine grade bloodlines and his battle strength would be even stronger. In less than a day, all the blood essences were refined. Obviously, these blood essences were not enough to upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline to the divine grade. Senior 9 sons will probably need some time to recover here. Now that Shao Qing and the Fatty are not in danger, it is most suitable for them to cultivate in the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. I will cultivate here. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the ground, thinking about the direction of cultivation. 9 Dragons' Heaven-stomping steps is not far from the 5th step. There is also the 3 unique skills of the Dragon God. I have to find time to integrate the Earth concept into it. This way I will have another way to fight the enemy. Of course, the most important thing is the comprehension of the concept. Also, I can't neglect the Tao of Inscription. Thinking of this, Lu Ming's fingers glowed, and the infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand. Senior 9 Sons has a lot of precious metals here. I can refine the infinite dragon spear. With a thought, a piece of metal appeared in his hand. This piece of metal was called Star Moon Iron. On it, there were little star-like patterns and it was very beautiful. Blue spiritual fire appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and it wrapped around the Star Moon Iron and began to burn it. Soon, the Star Moon Iron softened, and finally turned into a pool of liquid that wrapped around the infinite dragon spear. Lu Ming waved his fingers and lines of inscriptions bloomed in the air, flying toward the infinite dragon spear. Chapter 8:13. The infinite dragon spear had an infinite amount of black metal. It could continuously fuse with other precious metals to upgrade the infinite dragon spear's grade. Although Supreme 9 Yang's storage ring contained higher-grade spiritual weapons, such as LV7 and even LV8, there was no lack of spear-type spiritual weapons. However, although those spiritual weapons were of high quality, they had no potential and their grades were fixed. The Infinite Dragon Spear was Lu Ming's natal spiritual weapon and had unlimited potential. Naturally, Lu Ming chose to use the Infinite Dragon Spear. 3 hours later, the Infinite Dragon Spear let out a buzzing sound and shone brightly. LV6 Supreme Grade. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. After fusing with a piece of precious Star Moon metal and adding Lu Ming's inscriptions, the Infinite Dragon Spear was upgraded to LV6 Supreme Grade. In the sky, there seemed to be an inscription power descending and fusing with Lu Ming's spiritual fire, causing his spiritual fire to slowly rise. This was the reward given to him by the law of inscription after refining a LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. Lu Ming was not satisfied with the LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. He took out another piece of precious metal and began to refine it. A day later, the Infinite Dragon Spear vibrated again and reached LV6 Supreme Grade. With Lu Ming's current inscription skills and good materials, it was not difficult for him to refine a LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. Next, Lu Ming wanted to refine the Infinite Dragon Spear to LV7, which was a little difficult. Lu Ming took out a few pieces of precious metal. Blue spiritual fire spread out and Lu Ming began to refine it. This time it took a total of 3 days. Buzz. The Infinite Dragon Spear vibrated continuously and spear light shot up to the sky. Lu Ming quickly waved his hand and brought the Infinite Dragon Spear into the Temple of Paragon so as not to disturb Supreme Nine Yang. The Infinity Dragon Spear emitted a brilliant glow as a powerful aura spread out from it. LV7, Superior LV7. Lu Ming's eyes brightened, revealing a look of great joy. Success. Lu Ming had raised the Infinite Dragon Spear to the upper grade of the 7th rank. If others knew that he had forged a 7th rank spirit weapon, they would probably be scared to death. If an inscription master was able to create a peak or peerless spirit weapon of their own level, it would already be very impressive. To create a spirit weapon of a higher level was too difficult. Normal true inscription masters would not be able to do it. Furthermore, the higher the grade of the spirit weapon, the harder it was to refine it. And now, Lu Ming had only lit up one of his level 6 blue spirit lamps. If he could light up a few more, it wouldn't be impossible for him to refine a level 7 spirit lamp, or even a level 7 spirit lamp. Strands of inscription energy descended from the unseen world. Lu Ming's spirit flame kept growing stronger. Suddenly, the light of the second spirit lamp flashed, and a blue flame ignited. Lu Ming had lit up the second blue spirit lamp, and his spirit power was even stronger. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. Holding the long spear in his hand, he waved it casually. The space trembled and a faint dragon roar could be heard. Then Lu Ming put away the Infinite Dragon Spear. The Enlightenment Ancient Tree is changing. Suddenly, Lu Ming's figure moved and appeared on another platform. The Enlightenment Ancient Tree was placed here. At this time, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree was sparkling and there were circles of light spreading out. A mysterious aura floated out. On the pitch-black branch there was a green leaf. It was dark green and crystal clear. There were mysterious patterns on it, as if it contained the truth of the universe. And next to this dark green leaf, a second green leaf appeared. More than 10 days ago, Lu Ming watered the mother spring on the mysterious yellow silicon soil. Sure enough, the mother spring was worthy of being called a rare treasure in the world. It successfully made the Enlightenment Ancient Tree grow a second leaf. Lu Ming closed his eyes and carefully comprehended. After a while he opened his eyes and there was a look of surprise in his eyes. The Enlightenment Ancient Tree's second leaf had indeed greatly increased Lu Ming's comprehension speed. In the past it was equivalent to 10 times the normal state. Now it was 20 times. Yes, under the Enlightenment Ancient Tree, Lu Ming's state of comprehension was 20 times the normal state. Lu Ming was naturally ecstatic. In this way his cultivation speed could be increased again. The Enlightenment Ancient Tree was indeed a rare treasure in the world. In ancient times only the strongest could possess it. Immediately, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and quietly comprehended the will of heaven and earth. Soon 7 days passed. Lu Ming went out and collected the blood essence of the demonic beasts that Wang Haoxin had sent. This time, there were 4 blood essences of demonic beasts in the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm and 3 blood essences of demonic beasts in the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. After refining, the 9 dragons' bloodline still did not advance. Just like this, every 7 days Lu Ming refined the blood essence. The rest of the time was spent on cultivation. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed since Lu Ming had controlled Wang Haoxin. During this time, Lu Ming had made great progress in all aspects, especially in the will of heaven and earth and the thunder will, which had reached the lower second level. The earth will was also close. At this time, the Nine Dragons bloodline had finally reached its limit and was about to advance. This was the fourth time that Lu Ming had refined the blood essence of the demonic beast that Wang Haoxin had sent. In the Temple of Paragon. Roar. The Nine Dragons bloodline roared to the sky. Its body twisted and turned in the air. Its body was filled with light. As the Nine Holes bloodline roared, its body began to grow longer and thicker. The scales on its body became brighter and more crystal clear. A claw extended from the Nine Dragons bloodline's abdomen. The fifth claw. 5 claws, a true dragon. After a while, a 1,000-meter-long true dragon with 5 claws under its abdomen appeared above Lu Ming's head. There was a golden chakra on the true dragon's body, shining with dazzling light. The Nine Dragons bloodline had finally advanced to the divine bloodline and transformed into a true dragon's body. The Nine Dragons bloodline roared, its aura soaring to the sky. At this moment, in the depths of the Nine Dragons city, where the 3 dragon veins converged, there was a palace floating in the air. It seemed to be in the depths of the void. It could be seen but could not be approached. In the deepest part of the palace, there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the void. This was a middle-aged man around 50 years old. He wore a black battle robe and was tall and sturdy. His eyes were closed as he sat there quietly. However, from his body, there seemed to be a boundless majesty. It was as if this person was a peerless overlord, a peerless emperor who could dominate the universe and control countless lives. Suddenly he opened his eyes. At this moment, the entire world lit up. The surrounding space was instantly annihilated as if it could not withstand the immense pressure and turned into a pitch-black chaotic space. The Nine Dragons bloodline has finally appeared? It seems to have evolved to the divine bloodline. Jianghu, you've really put in a lot of effort to use a sealing technique to isolate the aura of the Nine Dragons blood essence. Unfortunately, you've underestimated your master. Master's methods are not something you can pry into. Even if there's a seal, I have my own detection technique. The Nine Dragons blood essence seems to be in Nine Dragons City. There's a treasure blocking it. The middle-aged man muttered to himself. After a while, he frowned slightly. Chapter 8:14. Jianghu, you must have found a young genius to be your successor, right? Do you want to take revenge on me? How naive. Since you are in Nine Dragon City, I will find you. Let's leave this matter to the ancient families. The middle-aged man whispered. Then, his lips moved and he seemed to have said something. Soon, 6 middle-aged men walked in. Each and every one of these 6 middle-aged men possessed imposing auras. From a single glance, one could tell that they were people of high status and possessed the aura of an overlord. However, the 6 middle-aged men were extremely respectful before the black-clothed man. Greetings, Your Majesty. The 6 middle-aged men bowed and greeted him. Obviously, the middle-aged man in black was the ruler of Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, one of the overlords of Eastern Wilderness, Martial Emperor D. The 6 middle-aged men who came later were the family heads of the 6 ancient families. May I know why Your Majesty has summoned the 6 of us? The family head of the Dongfang family bowed and asked. During this period of time, pay close attention to the geniuses in Nine Dragon City, especially those who have awakened the true dragon bloodline. If there are any, bring them here. Martial Emperor De instructed. Yes. The 6 family heads bowed and accepted the order. Go. After Martial Emperor De instructed, he closed his eyes again. The patriarchs of the 6 ancient families bowed and left. The Nine Dragon bloodline roared and its aura was shocking. Whoosh. Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and entered the Nine Dragon bloodline, merging with it. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into a true dragon and had the power to destroy the world. After a while, the Nine Dragon bloodline shrank and turned into Lu Ming's appearance. I wonder if the Nine Dragon bloodline has any other functions after becoming a divine bloodline? The devouring power should be stronger, right? I should find a chance to try it. Lu Ming thought excitedly as he sensed it carefully. All of a sudden, he felt a strange power in the Nine Dragons bloodline at his spine. This power was extremely terrifying and Lu Ming seemed to be able to draw out this power at any time. What kind of power is this? I should go out and try it. Lu Ming left the Supreme Divine Palace and appeared on a mountain peak thousands of miles away. With a thought, Lu Ming drew out the power of the Nine Dragons bloodline. This power was similar to True Origin, but it was completely different. Lu Ming felt that the essence of this power was thousands of miles stronger than True Essence. As soon as this energy was drawn out, it emitted an astonishing dragon roar. Then this energy fused into Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming's muscles swelled up and scales appeared on his skin. Dragon scales, these were dragon scales. At this moment, Lu Ming felt as if his entire body was filled with boundless power. Boom! Lu Ming punched out. Everywhere his fist passed, the air turned into liquid and then evaporated. Space was like paper folding in front of his fist. A terrifying fist energy exploded out. Boom! Boom! Wherever the fist energy passed, 7 huge mountains were pierced by the fist energy and exploded. Many demonic beasts roared crazily and were sent flying far away. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. The power of this punch was terrifying. This was just a casual punch from Lu Ming. What kind of power is this? It's too strong. Lu Ming was shocked and excited at the same time. Dragon power, the power of a true dragon. Kid, this is the power of a true dragon. Dandan shouted on Lin Fan's shoulder. Dragon power? Lu Ming was puzzled. Dragon power is a power that only a true dragon can control. It's extremely powerful and is many times stronger than true origin. Kid, you can control dragon power? Dandan exclaimed. I can't control it. It's just a force born from the bloodline. Lu Ming arrived. While speaking, Lu Ming felt that the dragon power in his body was slowly weakening. Soon the dragon power seemed to be exhausted. The dragon scales on Lu Ming's skin also disappeared. Why is it gone? Lu Ming was shocked. It couldn't be that it was exhausted just like that, right? Brat, don't worry. Once it's used up, it will recover. Even if it's just one strand, you've already made a fortune. The power of the dragon force is not something that Jin Yuan can compare to. You've seen the power just now. Dandan said. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Could this be the benefit of the 9 dragons' bloodline being promoted to God realm? A dragon power was condensed in the bloodline. After Lu Ming unleashed it, his battle strength would increase greatly. This could be Lu Ming's trump card. I remember now. Kid, the bloodline you awakened, it can't be the 9 dragons' bloodline, right? Dandan suddenly shouted, staring at Lu Ming. Yes, what's wrong? Lu Ming said. Haha, it's really the 9 dragons' bloodline. How did you awaken it? Using the 9 dragons' blood essence? Dandan asked again. Didn't you already know this? Lu Ming was speechless. Dandan was by his side every day. Dandan already knew his secret. I just thought it was familiar before. Now I finally remember. 9 dragons, so it's that kid 9 dragons. It seems that it has died in battle. Dandan suddenly sighed. That kid 9 dragons? Lu Ming was a little speechless. However, he was used to Dandan's bragging tone. He asked curiously, Dandan, do you know 9 dragons? Nonsense, of course I know them. I'm the leader of the top 10 beasts. 9 dragons is also one of the top 10 beasts. I was the one who guided him back then. His devouring talent could be maximized. Haven't you mastered it too? Dandan clasped his hands behind his back and spoke like an old man. 9 dragons is also one of the top 10 beasts. Then what are the top 10 beasts? Lu Ming was very curious. He had heard Dandan talk about the top 10 beasts every day. He had long wanted to know. Kid, the top 10 beasts are existences that surpass the divine beast. Each of them is unique and powerful. With your current cultivation, it's useless to know. I'll tell you later. Dandan said proudly. Forget it, I'll find out myself in the future. Lu Ming said. Then he returned to the cave and continued to cultivate. After the 9 dragons' bloodline was promoted to the divine rank, its devouring power had increased by dozens of times. The refining of blood essence was extremely fast. Under the Enlightenment Ancient Tree, Lu Ming's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. Supreme 9 Yang was also under the Soul Consolidating Tree and did not wake up. Time flew by quickly. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Soon Lu Ming came to the wild beast forest. 5 months had passed. In these 5 months, Lu Ming had improved rapidly in all aspects. First, he lit 2 more Path of Inscription. Just a few days ago, Lu Ming had lit a total of 4 blue spirit lamps. As for the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, Lu Ming had successfully cultivated to the 5th step and was moving towards the 6th step. Chapter 8:15. Other than the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, Lu Ming also successfully integrated the concept of earth into the 3 ultimate skills of the dragon god, making it a demigod martial skill. Lu Ming cultivated it to the highest level. With this, Lu Ming undoubtedly had many more tricks up his sleeves. As for the concept of heaven and earth, his progress was also very fast. Wind, fire, and thunder, the three concepts of heaven and earth had all reached the greater success of level 2. Only the concept of earth was stuck at the peak of level 2 initial success for several months. The concept of earth was very difficult to cultivate and there were many bottlenecks. If he wanted to improve it, it would be much slower than the 9 common concepts. Most importantly, Lu Ming had to multitask. If he only cultivated one concept of earth, his speed would definitely be much faster. As the concept increased, his cultivation would naturally increase quickly as well. Now, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Compared to 5 months ago, it had increased by 3 levels. Their overall combat strength was much stronger than it was 5 months ago. Such a huge improvement was inseparable from the Enlightenment Ancient Tree. Of course, there was also the huge amount of resources left behind by Supreme Nine Suns. Lu Ming turned around and looked in the direction of Supreme Nine Suns. Supreme Nine Suns was still sitting cross-legged under the soul consolidating tree. It had already been 5 months and he had not moved at all. However, Supreme Nine Suns' remnant soul was much more condensed than 5 months ago, giving off a heavy feeling. The soul consolidating fruits on the 2 soul consolidating trees had long disappeared. Not only that, even the 2 soul consolidating trees had completely withered, turning into dead branches. Lu Ming had a feeling that Supreme Nine Suns would wake up soon. Shwa. Lu Ming's figure moved and he left the cave. It was time to collect the blood essence once every 7 days. Not long after, he saw a figure standing in the air, facing the wind. It was Wang Haoxian. Seeing Lu Ming come, Wang Haoxian waved his hand and threw 7 jade bottles to Lu Ming. After Lu Ming caught them, he threw the 7 empty jade bottles to Wang Haoxian. What do you want so much blood essence for? Are you refining pills? Wang Haoxian asked curiously. After 5 months, Wang Haoxian's state of mind had gradually calmed down. It seemed that she had gotten used to coming here every 7 days to hand over 7 sets of blood essence to meet Lu Ming. Over the past 5 months, Wang Haoxian had not asked Wang Haoxian's hands blood essence. How about a battle with me? Lu Ming's mouth suddenly spoke. After 5 months of tough cultivation, Lu Ming wanted to test the results of his cultivation. Wang Haoxian, as hands. Wang Yi, heaven's god. Wang. Wang's fingers hands as heavens. Hands, hand eyes, as hands. Wang Haoxian's eyes flashed. Eyes I hand mice hands my there's hands gods as. God's mice. God. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Fine. You asked for it. Wang Haoxian's eyes turned cold. Her body emitted blazing flames. She strode forward and threw a punch. The blazing fist radiance blasted toward Lu Ming. The infinite dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He waved it casually and shattered the fist radiance. No need to test me. Use your full strength. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Wang Haoxian furrowed her brows slightly. Her punch just now had 80% of her strength from 5 months ago. If it had been 5 months ago, Lu Ming would definitely have been sent flying. But now, Lu Ming had defeated her fist gleam effortlessly. It seemed that Lu Ming had made great progress in the past 5 months. Boom. The next moment, Wang Haoxian's aura burst out. Instantly, it reached the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm. But it was not the limit. The early stage of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm, the middle stage of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm, it kept increasing until it reached the peak of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm. Obviously, Wang Haoxian's cultivation had also made great progress in the past few months. That was for sure. It was impossible that Lu Ming was the only one who was improving. Others were also improving all the time. Boom. Wang Haoxian stepped forward and threw a punch at Lu Ming. The power of this punch was even more terrifying. That's right. Lu Ming laughed. His aura burst out. His long spear was like a dragon. With a thrust, a 4-colored dragon flew out and pounced forward. With a boom, Wang Haoxian's fist radiance was shattered. Although the 4-colored dragon became smaller, it still pounced forward. How can he be so strong? Wang Haoxian's expression changed. She waved her fists again and 2 fist radiances were thrown out. 1 fist radiance and the 4-colored dragon were shattered at the same time, while the other one blasted toward Lu Ming. Whoosh! The spear radiance burst out. Lu Ming shattered Wang Haoxian's fist radiance with 1 spear and strode forward. The spear radiance was like a mountain, smashing toward Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian roared. Flames burned as she tried her best to fight with Lu Ming. But the more they fought, the more shocked Wang Haoxian was. She was actually suppressed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation was at the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm, one level lower than her, but he was still suppressing her. What was surprising was that Lu Ming did not seem to be using bloodline martial arts. That was even more surprising. In fact, this was normal. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming's 4 types of mentalities had all broken through and improved. Wang Haoxian's mentalities had reached the 2nd level of perfection 5 months ago. Although it had improved in the past month, it was still at the 2nd level of perfection. So, in terms of mentalities, Lu Ming's improvement was much greater than hers. That was why Lu Ming could surpass 1 level and easily suppress her. No, I can't be defeated by him. Wang Haoxian roared in her heart. Above her head, purple flames appeared. Her body melted into the purple flames. The purple flames twisted and turned into a purple firebird, pouncing toward Lu Ming. Bloodline fusion. I've been waiting for this move. Lu Ming smiled. The infinite dragon spear disappeared, and a palm struck toward Wang Haoxian. As the palm struck, the space shook. The firebird screamed and flew back, turning back into Wang Haoxian's figure. Her face was pale and blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Her eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Lu Ming did not even use bloodline fusion. He defeated her bloodline fusion with one move and beat her back to her original form. How could it be so terrifying? She felt that the power of Lu Ming's palm strike seemed to be able to suppress the heaven and earth, making her feel that she could not resist. What followed was depression and dejection. 5 months. It had only been 5 months. 5 months ago, Lu Ming was no match for her at all. She chased him all over the place and he was almost killed by her. 5 months later, even though her cultivation level had increased by 1 level, she was still easily defeated by Lu Ming in 1 move. It was hard for her to accept. Would she still have any hope of revenge against Lu Ming in the future? Her hope was getting slimmer and slimmer. Wang Haoxian felt a sense of helplessness. This feeling of helplessness only came when she faced those monsters at the top of the list of top 1,000 talents. Could it be that Lu Ming could compete with those perverts? The hell-suppressing heaven skill is equivalent to an upper demigod martial technique. It's really powerful. Chapter 8:16. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming had devoured more than 150 portions of blood essence from beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. It was impossible for his bloodline to not improve. The suppressing prison monument bloodline and the 9 dragons bloodline both improved by 1 level. Both bloodlines reached the 2nd level of the divine rank. When the suppressing prison monument bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine rank, the power of the suppressing prison celestial skill skyrocketed again, reaching the power of an upper-grade half-god martial technique. However, it should be equivalent to the 1st level of an upper-grade half-god martial technique. Even so, its power was several times stronger than the highest level of a low-grade half-god martial technique. An upper-grade half-god martial technique could only be mastered by spirit embryo realm experts. Only then could they unleash its full power. Its power was terrifyingly strong. When the 9 dragons bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine rank, Lu Ming discovered that there was actually an additional dragon power. There were 2 dragon powers in the bloodline. This made Lu Ming look forward to the bloodline's upgrade even more. However, it was even more difficult to upgrade the bloodline at the divine rank. However, the 3rd bloodline had not awakened yet. It was as if it was still brewing and accumulating. This made Lu Ming feel rather helpless. He could only wait. Let's go. Follow me to hunt beasts. Lu Ming instructed Wang Haoxian. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming almost did not engage in any battles. He spent almost all of his time cultivating. Cultivating blindly was not enough. There had to be a great battle. Only by combining the 2 could it be the path of martial cultivation. Lu Ming planned to kill beasts in the Wild Beast Mountain range while obtaining blood essence. When Supreme 9 Suns woke up, he would head to the Ocean Cloud sect. Back then he had made an appointment with Xian Yinqing and Kong Jin to meet at the Ocean Cloud sect half a year later. Wang Haoxian bit her lips and followed behind Lu Ming. No one knew what she was thinking. Lu Ming was too lazy to care. He and Wang Haoxian went deep into the Wild Beast Mountain range to search for high-level beasts. Lu Ming was too lazy to hunt beasts in the 5th and 6th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. Their blood essence was too weak for Lu Ming. He had to hunt beasts in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean realm at least. Soon the 2 were 100,000 miles deep. A giant black bear, 10 meters tall, with blood-red eyes, exuded a terrifying and powerful aura. This was a demonic beast at the peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, charging towards Lu Ming fearlessly. A spear light materialized in his hand. With a wave of his hand, the spear light pierced through the void and pierced through the head of the giant bear. Lu Ming could casually kill a normal peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Devouring power erupted from his palm, devouring the blood essence of the giant bear and refining it. The refining power of the 9 dragons' bloodline of the divine realm was incomparably terrifying. In just a few minutes, the giant bear's blood essence was completely refined. The two continued to go deeper, and before long an 8th layer spiritual ocean tier beast appeared, but was still easily killed by Lu Ming. The two of them advanced, and in a day's time, there were as many as 10 beasts in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier and above that died at Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming used it to upgrade the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline, but it was like throwing a stone into the ocean. It didn't cause any ripples. Boom, boom. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from ahead. Sword Chi soared into the sky, and there were roars of demonic beasts. Someone was fighting with demonic beasts. In the Wild Beast Mountain range, there were often people who entered to hunt demonic beasts, obtain materials and search for some spirit herbs. Lu Ming didn't mind bypassing that place and continuing forward. Soon they advanced another 10,000 miles. That seems to be a blood-stained flower. Suddenly, several spirit flowers appeared in front of them. The spirit flowers were dark red, emitting a rich medicinal fragrance. Bloodstained flower was a 6th-level high-grade spirit herb. Although Lu Ming didn't care much about it now since he saw it, he naturally wouldn't miss it. Lu Ming was just about to walk over when a buzzing sound suddenly sounded in the sky. A group of dark red flying insects flew towards Lu Ming and the others. There were too many of these dark red flying insects, at least 10,000 of them. Bloodstained bugs equivalent to peak king tier. Lu Ming's mind moved, recognizing these flying insects. Lu Ming didn't make a move, but Wang Haoxian did. She waved her hand and purple flames spread out, enveloping the sky. In the next moment, the 10,000 bloodstained bugs were burned to ashes. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward. Suddenly, shwa, shwa. The sound of air being torn apart rang out, and 7 or 8 figures flew over at extreme speed. Little guy, those bloodstained flowers are ours. An aged voice sounded, and 8 figures appeared, standing above Lu Ming and the others. A vast aura spread out. These 8 people were undoubtedly experts. 5 at the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, and 3 at the 8th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. No wonder they dared to go hundreds of thousands of miles deep into the Wild Beast Mountain range. Of the 8 people, there were white-haired old men and middle-aged men. Get lost. A cold voice came from Lu Ming's mouth. Little guy, what did you say? You're so young and you don't know how to respect your elders. Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders. A short and fat old man's face revealed anger, and he stared at Lu Ming with an unfriendly gaze. An enormous aura spread out, and the aura of the peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier pressed down on Lu Ming. If you don't get lost, I'll kill him. Lu Ming didn't even look at the short and fat old man, and stepped toward the blood-stained flowers. These words were directed at Wang Haoxian. You're courting death. The short and fat old man shouted angrily, and a battle saber appeared in his hand. His figure flashed and he slashed at Lu Ming. But in the next moment, a figure appeared in front of the old man, and a blazing aura spread out as a fist punched out. The short and fat old man was like a firework, instantly turning into flames and exploding, not even leaving behind ashes. Raging Flames Sky Burning Art, the Wang family's Raging Flames Sky Burning Art. So young but so powerful. Could she be the Wang family's god-tier genius, Wang Haoxian? It should be her. The other 7 people cried out involuntarily. They came from a big force in 9 Dragon City, but that force was far inferior to the Wang family. Get lost or die. Wang Haoxian shouted coldly. Deep fear flashed in the eyes of the 7 people. Although their cultivation was high, they still had deep respect for such a god-tier genius. The combat power of a god-tier genius was too strong, and it couldn't be measured by cultivation at all. But what shocked them the most was that Wang Haoxian seemed to be taking orders from that young man. Just now, that young man completely ordered Wang Haoxian in a commanding tone. Who was that young man? It was unbelievable that he could order a god-tier genius like Wang Haoxian. They looked at Lu Ming and their eyes flashed with respect. Haha, that was a misunderstanding. Let's go, we'll go immediately. The other 7 people laughed and flew forward quickly, going deep into the wild beast forest. Lu Ming didn't bother to pay attention to them, and he casually picked the bloodstained flowers. Then he continued to look for beasts to kill. In the blink of an eye, half a day passed. Brr, brr. Suddenly, a few beasts' roars came from the front, shaking heaven and earth. Chapter 8:17. These were two elders. Their bodies were covered in blood, and their faces were filled with terror as they fled. Behind them, there were several huge beasts chasing after them. The aura of those beasts was extremely terrifying, and they were beasts at the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. At this moment, the two old men also saw Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian. Their eyes lit up and they rushed towards Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, shouting, "Save us, save us!" Lu Ming frowned. These two old guys obviously wanted to draw trouble onto them. How could Lu Ming let them do as they wished? Retreat. Lu Ming said softly and retreated with Wang Haoxian. Save us. The two old men chased after Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, and the few powerful beasts behind continued to chase after the two old men. You two, you can't leave us in the lurch. The two old men shouted. What did you take from those beasts? Otherwise, why would they chase after you so desperately? Lu Ming snorted coldly. The two old men's faces changed and one of them said, We didn't take anything. We just went in deep and encountered these beasts chasing after us crazily. Our other companions were all killed by them and only the two of us are left. The two old men spoke as they flew towards them. Give me your storage rings and I'll save you. Lu Ming sneered. These two old fellows must have taken something from those monstrous beasts. Otherwise, those monstrous beasts wouldn't be chasing them non-stop. You're robbing us. The two old men said. If you don't give it to me, then scram. If you keep pestering me, I'll make a move. Lu Ming said. A cold look flashed in the two old men's eyes. Without saying a word, they kept pestering Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, flying towards Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian. Since Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian didn't make a move, then they would drag them in. Brr. A huge black wolf roared furiously and charged over at the fastest speed. This giant wolf had battle prowess at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. With a swipe of its claw, it enveloped the old man, Lu Ming, and the others. The two old men screamed and ran for their lives. Boom. Wang Haoxian took a step forward and blasted out a blazing fist aura, which collided with the wolf claw. The giant wolf howled in anger. A large part of its paw was charred, but Wang Haoxian was also forced to retreat. The giant wolf's eyes were bloodshot. It howled crazily and pounced on the two old men without any regard for its life. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. The infinite dragon spear appeared and swept out. The spear light expanded and formed a huge spear pillar that swept towards the two old men. You can't. The two old men were shocked and used all their strength to block, but with their cultivation at the 8th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, how could they block Lu Ming's attack? They were struck by the spear ray until they spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and their bodies flew towards the giant wolf beast. Brr. The giant wolf demonic beast let out a long howl and swung out its claws. Under the despairing eyes of the two old men were torn apart. Then, the giant wolf beast opened its mouth and swallowed the storage rings of the two old men. It glanced at Lu Ming and the others and actually turned to leave. Wanna leave? Stay. How could Lu Ming let them leave? He strode forward and took several steps. Boom. Boom. 5 steps in a row, the power of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps exploded. The giant wolf beast howled as its huge body was stomped down and crashed into the ground below, creating a crater that was a few thousand meters deep. Brr. At this time, the other two beasts also pounced. These two beasts were a giant tiger and a giant snake, both of which had battle prowess at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. With a shake of the long spear, 2 rays of spear light shot out and pierced 2 wounds on the bodies of the two beasts. Blood flowed out. Brr. The fresh blood made the 2 demonic beasts even crazier as they pounced on Lu Ming. As for the giant wolf, it also started to struggle. It stomped on the ground and the ground rumbled. Amid the flying gravel, the giant wolf dashed into the sky and charged towards Lu Ming. You don't have to do anything, I'll do it. On the side, Wang Haoxian was about to make a move but was stopped by Lu Ming. There were a few opponents that Lu Ming could use to practice. The long spear shook and danced out. Spear light swept through the air and pierced towards the 3 beasts. The roars of the 3 demonic beasts were as loud as thunder, causing heaven and earth to tremble. 3 types of attacks, flames, ice, and thunder, erupted from their bodies and charged toward Lu Ming. The giant tiger and the giant wolf had sharp claws like knives and the body of the giant snake was like a steel whip. They had a terrifying attacking power. If one was hit, one's body would be torn apart. Lu Ming used the 3 absolutes of the dragon god and occasionally used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps to battle the 3 beasts at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier and faintly had the upper hand. On the side, Wang Haoxin was extremely shocked. Lu Ming obviously hadn't burst out with his strongest battle prowess. He hadn't used any bloodline martial arts and hadn't fused with divine rank bloodline, yet he could suppress the 3 beasts at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. As for Lu Ming, he was only at the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. If it were her, unless she fused with divine rank bloodline, she could only suppress one of the beasts. At most, she could fight the 3 beasts to a draw. Just as Wang Haoxin's thoughts were flying, a shocking scream sounded out in the sky. A ray of silver light flashed, and in the next moment, it appeared in front of Wang Haoxin like the most terrifying heavenly blade, slashing towards Wang Haoxin's head. Wang Haoxin's pupils contracted rapidly. Flames spread out from his body as he punched out, and a blazing fist ray shot out. The silver light and the fist ray collided. In an instant, the fist ray dissipated, and the silver light slashed out again. Wang Haoxin's figure retreated rapidly, and at the same time he punched out twice in succession. The 2 fist rays were scattered again, but they were slightly blocked. Wang Haoxin had time to prepare. His divine rank bloodline emerged, and Wang Haoxin fused with his bloodline, turning into a purple fire bird and pounced out. The purple fire bird and the silver light collided. In the boom, the purple fire bird flew back, and that silver light also stopped. It was a giant silver bird with a wingspan of 50 meters. Its entire body was silver as if it was made of silver. Silver rock. Wang Haoxin's pupils contracted. The silver rock had the bloodline of the divine beast, the golden-winged rock, and was a descendant. It was extremely powerful and ordinary beasts couldn't compare to it. Ordinary beasts were like ordinary human martial artists, and descendant beasts with divine beast bloodline were like human geniuses with powerful battle prowess, able to fight across levels. And the higher the concentration of divine beast bloodline, the stronger the talent, and the more powerful it was. This silver rock was also at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. The silver rock screeched and pounced at Wang Haoxin again. Wang Haoxin had no choice but to flap his wings to face the enemy. But the silver rock's battle prowess was extremely powerful, much more powerful than the other 3 beasts combined. With only a few collisions, Wang Haoxin dispersed the flames and turned back into human form, spitting out blood. Shwa. The silver rock turned into a silver lightning, and its wings were like heavenly blades, slashing at Wang Haoxin. Wang Haoxin's eyes were filled with despair. She couldn't dodge anymore. The next moment, a figure appeared in front of her, and with a palm strike, the silver rock was sent flying. Chapter 8:18. The one who appeared in front of Wang Haoxin was naturally Lu Ming. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's figure was taller and sturdier than usual. His skin was covered with dense scales, and his aura was extremely violent. Wang Haoxin looked in other directions and found that the 3 beasts had all been killed by Lu Ming. The silver rock shouted and pounced towards Lu Ming. Kill? Lu Ming stepped out and punched out, colliding with the silver rock's wing. Crack. The silver rock's huge body was sent flying, and it let out a mournful cry. One of its wings was deformed, and the bone had been broken by Lu Ming. The silver rock's blood-red eyes actually showed fear. It flapped its wings and turned around to leave. Still want to run? Lu Ming stepped out and caught up with the silver rock and stepped out. This step contained a violent force and it hit the silver rock's back. The silver rock let out a mournful cry and it fell to the ground. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and the long spear pierced the silver rock's heart, killing it. Wang Haoxin was shocked. This silver rock with the bloodline of the golden-winged rock was actually killed by Lu Ming with an unstoppable force. This silver rock had almost killed her just now. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. In this case, it would not be too difficult for Lu Ming to kill her now. Also, what kind of secret technique was that? It was so terrifying. His body was covered with scales like a beast, and his aura was violent and terrifying. Her heart was extremely complicated. In her eyes, Lu Ming was becoming more and more mysterious, more and more unfathomable. Lu Ming flew down and secretly devoured the silver rock's blood essence. A burst of dragon force is indeed powerful, Lu Ming thought in his heart. Just now he had unleashed a surge of dragon force. Coupled with the hell-suppressing heaven skill, his power had reached a terrifying level. He had killed 3 demon beasts in one go, blocked the Silver Rock's attack towards Wang Haoxin, and crushed the Silver Rock to death. I wonder how powerful it would be if 2 streams of dragon force were to burst out at the same time? Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. When the 9 dragons' bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine realm, there would be 2 dragon energies. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Lu Ming said. You don't want these corpses? Wang Haoxin asked. A total of 4 corpses of beasts in the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, especially that silver rock. The materials on its body were extremely valuable. If you want it, take it. Lu Ming waved his hand. With the wealth left behind by Supreme Nine Sons, he didn't care about these demon beasts at all. The spirit stones exchanged for them wouldn't even be enough for him to swallow in a few mouthfuls. Finished speaking, Lu Ming stepped out. Wang Haoxin glanced at Lu Ming a few more times. After confirming that Lu Ming really didn't want it, she put away the 4 corpses. On a mountain peak tens of thousands of miles away, Lu Ming sat cross-legged, refining the blood essence. Wang Haoxin was at the side, guarding Lu Ming. The blood essence of the 4 beasts in the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier was extremely rich. However, with the refining power of the 9 dragons' bloodline, it didn't take much time to completely refine it. All the power of the blood essence poured into the hell-suppressing monument bloodline, but the hell-suppressing monument bloodline still didn't advance and was still at the 2nd level of the divine realm. What did those guys steal from those demon beasts? And those demon beasts were a little different from other demon beasts. Lu Ming muttered to himself. The demon beasts in the wild beast forest were affected by the baleful aura and killing intent here. They were all incomparably violent and didn't fear death. They had lost their intelligence and wouldn't show any signs of fear. However, after those demon beasts were injured by Lu Ming, they showed fear. And that silver rock's fear was even stronger. It even turned and ran, which was different from other demon beasts, making Lu Ming feel a little strange. Could it be because of its high level? Lu Ming shook his head and didn't care about it for now. He planned to see what the 2 old men took from the demon beasts that caused the demon beasts to chase after them. Lu Ming looked through the 2 storage rings. There were some spirit crystals, some origin stones, medicinal pills, and secret manuals. Lu Ming didn't care much about them. In the end, Lu Ming found a metal box. This metal box wasn't big, but it was placed in a very important position. Lu Ming took it out and opened it. He found a red stone inside. The stone was the size of a fist. When the metal box was opened, the stone emitted a strange aura. Lu Ming immediately felt refreshed and refreshed. Could this be a soul-gathering stone? Lu Ming's eyes suddenly shone brightly. The soul-gathering stone was a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It had magical effects on the soul. Legend had it that when a person had just died and his soul had yet to disperse, if the soul-gathering stone was used to gather it, it could bring the person back to life. Of course, the legend was exaggerated, but it was very useful to the soul. Those guys must have taken the soul-gathering stone from the demonic beasts. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Those demon beasts must have regained some of their intelligence because of the soul-gathering stone. That was why they were chasing after the 2 old men to take back the soul-gathering stone. This soul-gathering stone must be very useful to Senior Nine Sons. At this thought, Lu Ming was overjoyed. If Supreme Nine Sons' soul was strong enough, he might be able to revive in the future. Let's go back to the cave abode. Lu Ming got up and flew back to the cave abode with Wang Haoxin. A few thousand miles away from the cave abode. I will leave the wild beast forest in a month at most. During this time, you don't have to hunt demon beasts. Cultivate by yourself. When I leave, I will send you a message. Lu Ming instructed Wang Haoxin and flew back to the cave abode alone. Soon he returned. Supreme Nine Sons was still sitting there cross-legged. However, the soul-gathering tree was completely dried up and had no energy left. Lu Ming guessed that Supreme Nine Sons would wake up soon. As expected, Supreme Nine Sons woke up 3 days later. Senior Nine Sons, how is your recovery? Supreme Nine Sons bowed and asked. My soul power has increased a lot. I won't fall into a deep sleep so easily. Supreme Nine Sons smiled. That's good. Senior Nine Sons, I have a soul-gathering stone here. It might be useful to you. Lu Ming took out the soul-gathering stone and held it in his palm. Supreme Nine Sons' eyes lit up like 2 small suns. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the soul-gathering stone. After examining it for a while, he laughed out loud. It really is a soul-gathering stone. Ah, good. With this soul-gathering stone, my soul power will definitely recover by a large amount. At that time, I will be able to help you. It's good that it will be useful to you. Lu Ming was also very happy. Lu Ming, thank you. I will go back to the Temple of Paragon to refine it. Supreme Nine Suns wrapped the soul-gathering stone and turned into a ray of light. He rushed into Lu Ming's glabella and disappeared. I will cultivate for a while more and then go to the Sea Cloud sect to meet up with Xiao Qing and the others. Chapter 8:19. Next, Lu Ming continued his seclusion. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 days had passed. During this time, Lu Ming continued to use origin stones to break through, raising his cultivation to the peak of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm. However, his earth concept was still stuck at the peak of the 2nd level, unable to break through to the 2nd level. At this time, there were less than 10 days left until the half-year agreement. Xiao Qing, Fatty and the others have already come out of the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. I should also leave. Lu Ming thought. During this time, he and Xian Yanqing had naturally communicated with each other. Otherwise, Xian Yanqing would definitely be worried about Lu Ming's safety and would not be able to cultivate in peace. Knowing that each other was safe, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin could cultivate in peace in the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. And Lu Ming could also cultivate in peace and wait for Supreme Nine Suns. Lu Ming packed up and left the cave abode. He flew out of the wild beast forest at high speed. Thousands of miles away on a mountain peak, Wang Haoxian stood against the wind. After seeing Lu Ming, she obediently followed behind Lu Ming and flew out together. Soon they were out of the wild beast forest. Their bodies suddenly became lighter and their speed soared. They turned into 2 streaks of light and flew towards the east. Half a day later they were close to the Dragon Vein in the east. Lu Ming took Wang Haoxian and flew directly towards the Sea Cloud sect. Lu Ming, how have you been? When Lu Ming arrived at the Sea Cloud sect, Xiao Xian stepped out and said with a smile. Ha, Xiao Xian, congratulations on breaking through to the spiritual sea realm and becoming a spiritual sea realm almighty. Lu Ming glanced at Xiao Xian and saw that she had broken through to the spiritual sea realm. She was now at the peak of the 1st layer of the spiritual sea realm. I have broken through, but you should be even more unfathomable. Xiao Xian smiled. Then she looked at Wang Haoxian behind Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you have a great beauty by your side. Be careful that Miss Xian Yanqing doesn't get jealous when she sees you. Don't worry, she's just my maid. Why would Xiao Qing be jealous? Lu Ming smiled. These words caused Wang Haoxian, who was standing behind Lu Ming, to grit her teeth and feel hatred in her heart. Servant girl? Xiao Xian was stunned, and then she looked at Wang Haoxian and said, May I know your name? Wang Haoxian glanced at Xiao Xian, snorted coldly and did not answer. How could someone like Xiao Xian enter Wang Haoxian's eyes? She is Wang Haoxian. Lu Ming answered for her. So it's Miss Wang. What? Wang Haoxian? Which Wang Haoxian? Xiao Xian began to nod, but immediately reacted. Her pupils contracted as she looked at Lu Ming in shock and asked several questions. It's none other than Wang Haoxian from the ancient Wang family. Lu Ming said casually. What? She's the god-level genius Wang Haoxian? She is now your maid? Xiao Xian's voice was trembling and her eyes were full of shock. Who would believe that the god-level genius, Wang Haoxian, would become Lu Ming's maid? Xiao Xian thought that she was dreaming. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth unhappily. She knew that if this matter were to spread, her reputation would be ruined, but what could she do? She was also helpless. Well, let's not talk about this first. Xiao Qing and Fatty should be here soon. Lu Ming said casually, looking into the distance. Xiao Xian kept taking deep breaths to calm herself down. This matter was simply too shocking. Soon, 2 rainbow lights appeared from the horizon and arrived in front of the Hai Yun sect in a few breaths. As the rainbow light dissipated, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin's figures appeared. Aha, Lu Ming, we meet again. I missed you so much. As soon as Kong Jin appeared, he laughed loudly and was about to pounce on Lu Ming. But the next moment he looked around and saw Wang Haoxian standing behind Lu Ming. His butt seemed to be pricked by a needle and his body jumped up like a round ball. Wang Haoxian, it's you? Why are you here? Fatty cried out in disbelief, and the aura on his body burst out. Peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. After half a year, Fatty's cultivation reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, only 1 step away from the 6th level. On the other side, Xian Yanqing also burst out the cultivation of the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, and his eyes revealed killing intent as he stared at Wang Haoxian. What? Wanna fight? You think you are my match? Wang Haoxian sneered and a powerful aura burst out, pressing toward Fatty and Xian Yanqing. What are you doing? Retract your aura. Lu Ming glanced at Wang Haoxin and snorted coldly. Wang Haoxin snorted, retracted her aura, and stood behind Lu Ming obediently. Seeing this scene, Fatty and Xian Yanqing were dumbfounded. Don't be nervous. She is now my maid, Lu Ming said with a smile. Yet maid? Fatty's mouth opened wider than a lamb leg and Xian Yanqing's eyes widened. Previously, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing didn't mention that Wang Haoxin had become his maid. The message transmission Jade Talisman couldn't explain clearly, and only said that he was fine, and they didn't need to worry. So now, Xian Yanqing and the others were naturally surprised. Lu Ming, what's going on? Xian Yanqing stared and said. It's like this. Lu Ming explained how he had subdued Wang Haoxin, but skipped the matter of Supreme Nine Suns. He only said that he had found the netherine grass by accident, and refined it into netherine powder to control Wang Haoxin. Is that so? Lu Ming, I admire you so much. You have such a beauty to serve you every day. That's so cool. No, I also want to learn the art of inscription. I want to learn it too. Fatty was the first to shout, and his two small eyes were sparkling. It was as if he could already see countless women surrounding him and serving him as his servants. Fatty, don't talk nonsense. I have been cultivating alone during this period. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he quickly explained. Lu Ming, you two have been in the wild beast forest during this period. A cold voice sounded. Xian Yanqing glanced at Lu Ming and Wang Haoxin unkindly. Little Qing, although we have been in the wild beast forest, we have been cultivating separately. Lu Ming quickly explained. Young Master Lu Ming, the bed is ready. Do you need me to warm it for you? At this moment, Wang Haoxin spoke, which made Lu Ming's eyelids twitch. He turned around and stared at Wang Haoxin fiercely. However, he saw Wang Haoxin's mouth curl up slightly, revealing a trace of complacency. Nest, this is revenge, a blatant revenge. Lu Ming shouted in his heart. As expected, Xian Yanqing's silver teeth were tightly clenched together, and her eyes widened. She revealed a cold expression and squeezed out a sentence from her mouth. Pervert, Lu Ming, you really haven't changed. I am innocent. Lu Ming was speechless. What did she mean by haven't changed? When did he become perverted? Wang Haoxin, don't talk nonsense. Lu Ming scolded. Chapter 820. Nest, Lu Ming, you're too powerful. Wang Haoxin, that violent woman was actually tamed by you. I admire you. Fatty touched the pot that didn't boil. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing screamed and a powerful aura burst out from his body. The sky demon force field enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming was shocked. He moved, penetrated the force field and appeared beside Xian Yanqing. He grabbed Xian Yanqing by the waist. Xian Yanqing's body trembled and the force field disappeared. Fool, can't you see that she did it on purpose? I only have you in my heart. How can Wang Haoxin move my heart? Lu Ming whispered in Xian Yanqing's ear. This action was really intimate. Xian Yanqing looked around and found that the fatty, Qiao Xian, and Wang Haoxin were staring at them with wide eyes. He immediately blushed and struggled. Lu Ming, you let go of me. If you don't believe me, I won't let go. Lu Ming said with a grin. I believe you. Xian Yanqing admitted defeat. Lu Ming's arm loosened and Xian Yanqing flew out, his face red. Ah, the weather is really good today. Sister Qiao Xian, don't you think so? Fatty chuckled and turned his head to look elsewhere. Yes. Qiao Xian also turned to look elsewhere. This made Xian Yanqing's face redder and he glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing with a grin. After fooling around, they started to chat. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin also had some fortuitous encounters in the Sky Dome relic. Their cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, and their comprehension of concepts was far beyond Lu Ming. However, like Lu Ming, they hadn't awakened their 3rd bloodline yet, as if they were still accumulating power. But now you're no match for me, Lu Ming said with a smile. Don't be so smug. When I awaken my 3rd bloodline, I'll definitely defeat you. Xian Yanqing snorted and pouted. Especially when he looked at Wang Haoxin, his eyes were extremely unfriendly, as if he was still holding a grudge in his heart. Someone's coming. Lu Ming suddenly looked into the distance. A ray of sword light streaked across the sky at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, it was right in front of him. When the sword light dissipated, a slender and beautiful woman appeared. Ting. Seeing this woman, the fatty was overjoyed and hurriedly went to greet her. This young woman was actually Ruan Tingting. Fatty, Lu Ming, Miss Nianqing, I didn't expect you to be here too. Ruan Tingting was overjoyed to see Lu Ming and the others. Tingting, long time no see. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing also greeted Ruan Tingting. They hadn't seen each other for half a year, and Ruan Tingting had already gotten over that period of sadness. There was a heroic spirit about her, making her look heroic and cool. Tingting, aren't you cultivating in the Imperial Heavenly Guard? Why are you here? The fatty asked. I came with Brother Long Qianli. Recently, the Heavenly Corpse sect in Sky Demon Valley sent out geniuses to challenge the geniuses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. On the Dragon Vein in the east, there were geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect blocking the entrance of a sacred ground. They were very arrogant. Brother Long Qianli wanted to come and meet them, so I followed him and headed to the Windsword sect to avenge my parents. Ruan Tingting explained. The geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect in Sky Demon Valley are all here? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing and the others were stunned. Yes, I heard that the strongest batch of geniuses will come. For example, the geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect who are ranked below 100 on the list of top 1,000 talents are here. Ruan Tingting said. This is normal. Every time before the Battle of Providence, the Overlord forces will send their geniuses to the other party's territory. Their purpose is to test the strength of the other party's geniuses. In the past, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace also sent their geniuses to the Heavenly Corpse sect. This time, the Heavenly Corpse sect and Sky Demon Valley are here together, Wang Haoxin said. She was a genius from the Wang clan and knew more about this. Lu Ming nodded. This was understandable. Although the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect were archenemies, they didn't kill their envoys. When the other party's geniuses came, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace could only send their geniuses to meet the enemy. Tingting, let's go to the Windsword sect first. After we deal with the Windsword sect, let's go and take a look. Lu Ming said. He also wanted to see how strong the geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect were. All right. Ruan Tingting nodded. Then the group headed to the Windsword sect. Lu Ming could tell that Ruan Tingting's cultivation had already reached the 3rd level of the spiritual sea realm. It was obvious that Ruan Tingting had been heavily groomed by the Emperor Heavenly Forbidden Guards in the past half a year. Together with the inheritance from the Blue Gold Supremacy, her cultivation had improved so quickly. Lu Ming and the others naturally weren't going to help Ruan Tingting take revenge. Back then, Lu Ming said that he would let Ruan Tingting take revenge herself. They were heading there together in case of any accidents. Soon, the mountain gate of the Windsword sect was in sight. Who's there? This is the Windsword sect. Stop right there. At the mountain gate of the Windsword sect, a disciple guarding the mountain shouted. Don't you recognize me? Ruan Tingting strode forward with a gloomy face. Ruan Tingting, you're Ruan Tingting. The disciple's face changed drastically. I won't kill you. Go and get old man Yifa to come out and die. Ruan Tingting said. You wait. The disciple turned around and ran away. Clang, clang, clang. After a while, a hurried bell sounded from the Windsword sect. Subsequently, a large number of figures appeared in the depths of the Windsword sect. Yifa Yiqing and some elders of the Windsword sect. However, they stopped in the depths of the Windsword sect and didn't walk out. Yifa glanced at them solemnly and said, Tingting, what happened back then was our fault. However, because of this, the patriarch of the Windsword sect died in battle. Apart from that, a few experts also died. Qing Er's cultivation was also crippled. Can this matter end here? Shut up. Don't call my name. Sure. Wait until I chop off your head, then it will naturally end. Ruan Tingting said coldly with an extremely dense killing intent. During this period of time, she cultivated with all her might in hopes that she could kill her way into the Windsword sect one day and take revenge for her parents. How could this matter end so easily? Yifa's eyes were cold and didn't say anything. Since you guys aren't coming out, then I'll kill my way in. After Ruan Tingting said that, a sword chime sounded. A blue sword chi soared into the sky. As the sword chi crisscrossed, Ruan Tingting strode forward. 3rd level of the spiritual sea realm. The faces of Yifa and the rest changed drastically in disbelief. Lu Ming looked around and revealed a cold smile. Let's go in and take a look too. Then they followed closely behind Ruan Tingting and stepped out. Seeing that Lu Ming and the rest had stepped into the territory of the Windsword sect, Yifa's eyes were cold. Killing intent flashed as he shouted, Formation rise. Immediately after, densely packed inscriptions appeared all around the Windsword sect. Streaks of sword chi condensed in the air, and a powerful pressure spread out. This was a killing formation. A level 6 killing formation that was extremely powerful. Chapter 821. Although they didn't know the exact process of that incident, they heard that Ruan Tingting obtained a great opportunity. During this period of time, Yi was deeply worried and hoping that Ruan Tingting would be killed in the cruel competition. At the same time, he was also making preparations. He paid a huge price to hire a level 6 true inscription master to inscribe a powerful killing array in the Windsword sect. As long as Ruan Tingting and Lu Ming stepped into the Windsword sect, he would activate the killing array and kill Lu Ming and the rest. Little bitch, I already gave you a chance but you didn't cherish it. Even a martial artist at the 6th level of the spiritual ocean realm would die if they stepped into this array. Now let's see how you're going to kill me. Yi's expression was extremely gloomy as he spoke coldly. Ruan Tingting raised her brows and cursed in her heart. She was too careless. Hee, sect leader Yi, you think you can kill us with this array? Aren't you too naive? At this moment Lu Ming chuckled. Humph, it's more than enough to kill you all. Yi said coldly, but a trace of seriousness flashed in his eyes. In fact, the one he was most wary of wasn't Ruan Tingting but Lu Ming and the rest. In his eyes, Lu Ming and the rest were unfathomable. Half a year ago in that competition, their Windsword sect was completely defeated by Lu Ming and the rest. He built this array mostly to deal with Lu Ming and the rest. You think too highly of your formation. To be honest, I don't know what kind of inscription master you've hired. He's a complete piece of trash. You want to trap us with a trash formation? You're too naive. Lu Ming smiled. With that he stepped out. With every step Lu Ming took, circles of dense inscriptions would appear on the ground. These inscriptions seemed to be alive and were actually swimming on the ground. Yi's expression changed drastically as he cried out, "You're also an inscription master? Do it, control the array and kill them." In the surroundings, the grand formation shook. In the sky, endless sword chi converged, emitting a terrifying might as it pierced towards Lu Ming's group. Xian Yanqing, Fatty, Ruan Tingting, and even Wang Haoxian remained motionless, as if they did not see the sword chi. They had all witnessed how powerful Lu Ming's Tao of inscription was. However, Lu Ming still had a smile on his face. He stepped forward and whispered, "Break." As his voice fell, the sword chi that was piercing towards them from all directions collapsed just like that. Wuxia. The inscriptions around the Windsword sect were like fire falling into ice. They sizzled and disappeared without a trace. As Lu Ming's voice fell, the great array was broken. Yi Qin, and some of the elders of the Windsword sect had a terrible change in expression. They turned pale and bloodless. Yi paid a huge price to invite a 6th level true inscription master and spend half a month to perfect the great array. The great array that could kill an expert at the 6th level of the Spirit Sea realm was actually broken by Lu Ming while he was talking and laughing. This was too shocking. Could it be that not only was Lu Ming's martial cultivation so powerful, but even his Tao of inscription was so terrifying? All his plans were useless in an instant. Their hearts turned cold and they felt despair. Ruan Tingting, don't you want revenge? If you want revenge, then do it yourself. Why did you call for help? Since it's like this, I admit defeat today. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Yi called out to Ruan Tingting. Yi, you don't have to use such a low-level method to provoke me. If it was a head-on battle, I wouldn't have interfered. Of course, I would have to interfere with things like arrays. Lu Ming smiled. You wouldn't interfere? You said it, don't go back on your words. Yi called out. Of course I won't. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Ruan Tingting, what about you? Yi was still worried and looked at Ruan Tingting. I'll kill you with my own hands. Ruan Tingting's answer was very obvious. Alright, since it's like this, attack and kill this little bitch. Yi clenched his teeth and said gloomily. Instantly, 2 old men charged out from behind Yi, and a powerful aura spread out. 5th level of the Spirit Sea realm. Qiao Xian exclaimed. These 2 old men actually had the cultivation of the 5th level of the Spirit Sea realm. The Windsword sect definitely didn't have such experts, and Yi must have paid a huge price to invite them. What Yi said just now was to make Lu Ming and the others not attack, and then let the 2 5th level Spirit Sea realm experts kill Ruan Tingting. His intentions were vicious. Lu Ming, Tingting Shi. Qiao Xian looked worriedly at Lu Ming. No worries, Tingting should be able to handle it. Lu Ming said. He had long seen that there were 2 5th level Spirit Sea realm experts behind Yi, but he believed in Ruan Tingting. Ruan Tingting received Venerable Lan Jin's inheritance, which was a god-tier cultivation technique. In addition, Ruan Tingting's talent was top-notch. Previously she was just buried in the Wind Sword sect. Otherwise she wouldn't have received Venerable Lan Jin's inheritance. With a god-tier cultivation technique as a foundation and having cultivated in the Imperial Sky Guard for so long, it wasn't a big problem for her to cross 2 levels to deal with 2 normal 5th-level Spirit Sea Realm experts. Clang. The sword ray whistled, and the blue sword chi soared into the sky as if it could tear everything apart. Sword concept. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Ruan Tingting evolved the sword concept on the foundation of the gold concept. Kill. Ruan Tingting yelled and stepped forward. The sword chi whistled and charged towards the 2 old men. The 2 old men unleashed their full strength, but after a few moves they started to fall into a disadvantage. Ruan Tingting's blue sword ray was condensed from a god-tier cultivation technique, and in addition to the sword concept, it was simply indestructible. Shio. Shio. The sword chi rampaged and tore apart the 2 old men's attack and defense. Spare us. The 2 old men wanted to beg for mercy, but the sword chi pierced through the void and pierced through their throats. The 2 old men were dead. How could this be? Yi Qing and the others' faces were pale and filled with despair. Ruan Tingting's eyes flashed with killing intent as she stepped forward. The sword chi soared into the sky as she walked towards Yi. Tingting, spare us. Back then I treated you well. Yi shouted and started to beg for mercy. Treated me well? Marrying me to the Qing River's 2 freaks in exchange for a fortuitous encounter for your children. That's treating me well? Using my parents to force me and causing them to pass away in the end. That's treating me well? Ruan Tingting sneered. That was just a moment of folly on my part. Tingting, if you kill me, the Wind Sword sect will no longer exist. It will fall apart and be erased from the world. Yi didn't give up and continued to shout. What does the Wind Sword sect no longer exist have to do with me? Ruan Tingting was unmoved as she strode forward. The sword chi whizzed out and pierced forward. A few elders of the Wind Sword sect roared and unleashed their full strength, wanting to block it, but it was all in vain. The sword chi pierced through their foreheads. Run. Run. The other upper echelons of the sword division sect ran for their lives. However, the sword chi pierced through the air and killed them one by one. In the end, only Yi and Yi Qing were left. The 2 of them trembled and their faces were pale. They were in despair. Back then they had forced Ruan Tingting so much and they definitely didn't expect this to happen. Clang. The sword chi flashed and Yi and Yi Qing couldn't block it at all. The 2 figures fell down. Chapter 822. Father, Mother, Tingting has taken revenge for you. Ruan Tingting held her sword and muttered. Tingting, let's go. The upper echelons of the Wind Sword sect are all dead. They will be annexed by other factions soon. From then on, the Wind Sword sect will cease to exist. The fatty walked forward and patted Ruan Tingting's shoulder. He was afraid that Ruan Tingting would sink into hatred and killing, unable to extricate herself. Ruan Tingting took a deep breath and shook her sword. The blood on the sword evaporated. She kept her sword and smiled. Fatty, thank you. She then walked toward Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Monsieur, thank you. The reason why she could reach this step and take revenge was all because of Lu Ming and the others. Back when she obtained the inheritance, the Luan family and the Jiang family chased after her. It was Lu Ming and the others who risked their lives to protect her. Otherwise she wouldn't be where she was today. Since we are friends, there's no need to thank us. Let's go and see the prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Under the horrified gazes of many Wind Sword sect disciples, they left the Wind Sword sect and flew in the direction of the Dragon Vein. According to Ruan Tingting, the prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect had set up a battle platform at the entrance of a cultivation sacred ground in the Dragon Vein to challenge the prodigies of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. It had been a few days, and the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace was at a disadvantage. That was why Long Qianli had brought people here, hoping to stabilize the situation. Before the War of Providence, a few overlord factions would send their prodigies here. Firstly, it could serve as a training ground and test their strength. Secondly, it was also a way to lower the morale of the other party. Lu Ming and the others flew in the direction of the Dragon Vein with Ruan Tingting. Unscathed Valley was a relatively famous cultivation sacred ground in the Dragon Vein that the Wang family occupied. This place was of a higher level than the 100 Supremes Mountain, and there were more prodigies cultivating here. For example, many quasi-god prodigies ranked 300th to 400th would choose to cultivate here. The prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect pulled up a stone platform from the ground at the entrance of Unscathed Valley and used it as a battle platform. 8 prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect stood on one side of the platform. They were all dressed in black robes and had cold smiles on their faces. Another sovereign of the Heavenly Corpse sect was standing in the middle of the platform, looking around. There were many figures around the fighting ring. They were all geniuses from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Long Qianli stood at the front. Are there only so few geniuses in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, who else wants to fight? In the middle of the fighting ring, the genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect glanced around proudly. For a moment, no one dared to go up. Just now, that prodigy of the Heavenly Corpse sect had already defeated 3 prodigies in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier in a row, and was extremely powerful. Damn it. This time, the Heavenly Corpse sect must have gone through many rounds of selection. Those selected are all top-notch figures of different levels. Our Heavenly Emperor Divine Palace naturally has such figures as well. It's just that they aren't here at the moment. That's right, we were just caught off guard. The people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace started discussing fervently, feeling extremely indignant. The geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect were naturally the best in their respective realms. They were invincible in their own realms. How could they find so many experts in such a short time? Bloodsword 19, if you're capable, fight me. Long Qianli stepped out and stared at one of the 8 prodigies from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Bloodsword 19 was a god-level prodigy from the Heavenly Corpse sect, ranked 294th. Long Qianli was ranked 295th. Their rankings were similar. Why are you in such a hurry? Wait a minute. Let the others fight first and I'll fight you later. Bloodsword 19 looked at Long Qianli and sneered. Long Qianli's face darkened. In the past few days, the Heavenly Corpse sect had sent out their prodigies in the 2nd and 3rd layers of the spiritual ocean tier. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace could not afford to lose again. 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, who wants to fight me? On the stone platform, the Heavenly Corpse sect disciples continued to challenge. I'll do it. A voice came from afar and a streak of light flew over rapidly. Boom. Then a figure landed on the stone platform. Guzhang, it's Guzhang. Guzhang, 359th on the list of top 1,000 talents, is a quasi-prodigy. Good, there's hope now. The crowd was somewhat excited. Finally, a quasi-prodigy in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier came. Although the list of top 1,000 talents had not been updated for a long time and countless geniuses had risen to prominence, the rankings of the previous list of top 1,000 talents no longer had any authority to determine the combat prowess of the current geniuses. Some prodigies rose, some progressed slowly, and some even soared into the sky and awakened the god-level bloodline. Therefore, the prodigies on the list of top 1,000 talents were now in a complete mess. However, it could still be used as a reference. Those who were previously ranked at the top would not be too weak. Guzhang, I hope you won't let me down. The Heavenly Corpse sect expert said. I hope so too. Guzhang said coldly. Then the two began to fight. But after a dozen moves, the crowd was shocked to find that Guzhang was completely suppressed and at a disadvantage. After another dozen moves, Guzhang was sent flying and coughing up blood. He was defeated again. Ha, you're really weak. Let me tell you, I'm not the strongest in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. There are many more in the Heavenly Corpse sect who are stronger than me. The Heavenly Corpse sect genius sneered. Humph, what are you so proud of? It's just that our prodigies are not here now. At the exchange half a month later, all the prodigies will be here. Let's see how arrogant you can be then. Someone said indignantly. The Heavenly Corpse sect people sneered. They naturally knew that the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would not only have so few prodigies. Many of them were in seclusion, but what did it matter? Their goal was to break the morale of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Whoosh, whoosh. Just then, a few more streams of light flew over from the sky, and 6 young figures appeared. The appearance of these figures immediately attracted many people's attention. This was because there were 4 young women in this group of 6. Each of them was extremely beautiful, especially Xian Yanqing, who attracted many people's attention. These 6 people were naturally Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming, it's you? Suddenly there was a cold shout and several figures flew out, their killing intent not concealed at all. Chaotic winds and clouds. A flash of killing intent appeared in Lu Ming's eyes. The one who spoke just now was Luan Fengyun. Half a year ago, Luan Fengyun had ambushed and injured Xian Yanqing with a bow. Lu Ming would never forget that. He did not expect to meet Luan Fengyun here again. Lu Ming, you guys have been hiding for half a year. Let's see where you can hide today. Luan Fengyun looked at Lu Ming and the rest with killing intent. His gaze paused on Ruan Tingting for a while before looking at Long Qianli. His only fear was Long Qianli. He was afraid that Long Qianli would interfere. Hiding for half a year? Lu Ming curled his lips. Lu Ming, we meet again. Suddenly, another person appeared from the crowd. A figure stepped into the sky. Wang Ju. Chapter 823. He hadn't seen Wang Ju since the Heaven King ranking battle. He should be cultivating in seclusion, but now he had appeared. What's wrong? You're looking for a beating after being defeated? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming, I lost in the Battle of the Kings, but what's the big deal about losing in the King Realm? The Sea of Soul Realm is where the geniuses compete. Defeating you now is as easy as flipping my hand. Wang Ju's body emitted a blazing aura. On the other side, the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect were watching with interest. They didn't expect the people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace to have internal strife. They were naturally happy to see it happen. Long Qianli frowned slightly. He naturally recognized Lu Ming, but he had already helped Lu Ming and the others once. He couldn't interfere with Lu Ming's private matters every time. After all, the other party was an ancient family. Moreover, his gaze was fixed on Wang Haoxin, who was behind Lu Ming. He was very surprised. Why would Wang Haoxin stand behind Lu Ming? If Wang Haoxin attacked, he wasn't confident. Wang Ju, why don't you let me deal with this person? Luan Fengyun looked at Wang Ju. All right. Wang Ju nodded. It would be best if Luan Fengyun could deal with Lu Ming. Whoosh. Just then a figure flashed and blocked in front of Lu Ming. If you want to touch Lu Ming, you'll have to get through me first. Wang Haoxin said coldly. Wang Haoxin, what are you doing? Luan Fengyun's expression changed drastically. He naturally saw Wang Haoxin just now and he was also curious. Why would Wang Haoxin come with Lu Ming and the others? He thought that it was on the way. If you want to touch Lu Ming, you'll have to defeat me first. Wang Haoxin said coldly. This made Luan Fengyun's expression turn even uglier. Wang Haoxin was a god-grade genius who had awakened a god-grade bloodline. How could he be a match for him? Wang Haoxin, why are you doing this? Wang Ju asked with a bewildered gaze. He was from the same clan as Wang Haoxin. Wang Haoxin was an incomparably arrogant person. His talent was extremely high and he was completely focused on cultivation. He had never treated others well, especially men. Apart from her brother Wang Haoyin, she had almost no friends. Now she was actually standing in front of Lu Ming, helping Lu Ming block the enemy. This was somewhat inconceivable. Not only him but the others were also in disbelief. Many people who didn't know Lu Ming were guessing who Lu Ming was to be able to make the god-level genius Wang Haoxin act like this. Humph, I'll spare you today for the sake of Wang Haoxin. Luan Fengyun said coldly. Then she turned around to leave. Did I say you could leave? Even if you're not looking for me, I'm looking for you. Lu Ming's voice rang out. He took a step forward and said, Wang Haoxin, there's no need for you to interfere. I'll deal with it myself. Chaos Wind and Cloud stopped and glanced at Wang Haoxin. Wang Haoxin took 2 steps back, as if he was very obedient to Lu Ming and had no intention of interfering. This made many people feel surprised again. Chaos Wind and Cloud also frowned and said, Lu Ming, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Then a powerful aura rose from his body. He was at the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Obviously, Chaos Wind and Cloud had made great progress in the past 6 months and had advanced to a higher level. A big bow appeared in his hand, and his aura became sharp. Swish. He stepped back and knocked an arrow. An arrow instantly traversed the space and shot toward Lu Ming. It was as fast as lightning and as powerful as thunder. Many people were secretly shocked. Chaos Wind and Cloud was indeed a quasi-genius on the list of top 1,000 talents. His combat strength was extremely powerful. Not many people at the same level could dodge this arrow. Xian Yanqing, Fatty, and the others didn't move at all, as if they weren't worried at all. Lu Ming also didn't move and let the arrow hit him. It was as if Lu Ming didn't react at all. Lu Ming was going to be killed. This thought flashed through many people's minds. The arrow pierced through the air and shot toward Lu Ming's forehead in an instant. At this moment, Lu Ming finally moved. He stretched out a hand. Few people could see when he stretched out his hand and he caught the arrow. The arrow stopped steadily in front of Lu Ming's forehead, less than an inch away from Lu Ming's forehead. Almost everyone widened their eyes in shock. Lu Ming actually caught the arrow with his bare hand. This arrow was not shot by an ordinary person, but by Chaos Wind and Cloud, who had reached the peak of the 5th tier of the spiritual sea realm. It was absolutely terrifying and could kill an ordinary expert at the 7th tier of the spiritual sea realm. But Lu Ming casually caught it in his hand. This kind of visual impact was seriously too great, making people's minds go into a trance. Chaos Wind and Cloud, I haven't seen you for half a year, and you haven't improved at all. Lu Ming smiled slightly. His fingers exerted force and the arrow in his hand shattered. Chaos Wind and Cloud's pupils shrank rapidly. She retreated quickly and at the same time the big bow in her hand drew again. Shio. Shio. The rapid arrow was a series of 9 arrows, and they formed a straight line. The arrows at the back collided with the arrows at the front, causing the arrows at the front to explosively increase in speed. As for the first arrow, its speed increased to a terrifying degree. However, Lu Ming took a step forward and struck out with his palm. The arrow was shattered into pieces by the impact. Chaos Wind and Cloud was shocked and retreated quickly. Lu Ming took a few steps and appeared in front of Chaos Wind and Cloud in a flash. Chaos Wind and Cloud was terrified. She exploded with all her strength, and a battle blade appeared in her hand, slashing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming struck out with a palm strike, and the battle blade shattered. Lu Ming clawed at Chaos Wind and Cloud's throat. Chaos Wind and Cloud's Zhenyuan was completely sealed, and she struggled in Lu Ming's hand. Everyone was shocked. Chaos Wind and Cloud was a quasi-prodigy, and was extremely powerful. But in front of Lu Ming she was like a chicken, unable to withstand a single blow. All of her attacks were easily broken by Lu Ming. Those who knew about the battle at 100 Supremes Mountain were even more shocked. At that time, Lu Ming was completely suppressed by Chaos Wind and Cloud. But now, only half a year had passed, and Lu Ming's battle prowess had reached a terrifying level, completely crushing Chaos Wind and Cloud. It was truly terrifying. Let him go. Behind Chaos Wind and Cloud, 2 young men shouted and attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Lu Ming kicked out, and the power of 9 dragon sky stomping steps was contained within. The 2 young men were at the 6th layer of spiritual sea realm, but they weren't prodigies and were far weaker than Lu Ming. They both spat out mouthfuls of blood and retreated. Lu Ming's finger appeared in a ray of light and he struck out. Puchi. Blood splattered everywhere, and one of Chaos Wind and Cloud's arms flew out, and was cut off by Lu Ming. Chaos Wind and Cloud let out a low roar, and her body struggled with all her might. Lu Ming swung and Chaos Wind and Cloud was sent flying. This arm, I'll take it as paying you back for that sneak attack. If you can't accept it, you can come and fight me again. Lu Ming said coldly. Chaos Wind and Cloud roared, and used her martial arts to stop the bleeding. She looked at Lu Ming with hatred and shock. On the other side, Wang Ju's pupils contracted rapidly, and his heart was in turmoil. Wang Ju's battle prowess was powerful, and his talent was shocking. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to enter the Heaven King ranking. Chapter 824. But now, he realized that Lu Ming's cultivation was unfathomable, and his battle prowess was even more terrifying. Even Luan Fengyun was crushed by Lu Ming. This made him extremely shocked. At this moment, Lu Ming looked at him. Now, do you still want to fight? A calm voice sounded. Everyone's eyes gathered on Wang Ju. Still want to fight? There seemed to be no need to answer this question. Luan Fengyun was easily crushed. If he fought, he would be crushed even more miserably. Wang Ju's face turned green and then white. Finally, he gritted his teeth and turned into a beam of light, leaving the place without a fight. No one thought that Wang Ju was cowardly. Many even agreed with Wang Ju's decision. Facing an unbeatable opponent, perhaps retreating was the wisest choice. Lu Ming smiled faintly and returned to Xian Yanqing's side. In front of the stone platform, Long Chenli looked at Lu Ming. His eyes flashed. Now he couldn't see through Lu Ming, which made him extremely shocked. He still remembered that half a year ago, Lu Ming and the others still had to rely on his reputation to get out of the 100 Supremes Mountain. But now, in just half a year, Lu Ming already gave Long Chenli an unfathomable feeling. Interesting. On the stone platform, Bloodsword 19 sneered. Then he looked around again and said, since no one in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier wants to fight, then the 5th layer will fight. Shuimeng, you go. Yes. Beside Bloodsword 19, a young man nodded and stepped out, appearing in the center of the stone platform. His aura bloomed. Peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, who wants to fight? Meng's face was slightly pale, but his eyes were as red as blood. Around the stone platform it was silent. This time the Heavenly Corpse sect had sent out top experts of all levels. Their battle prowess was almost invincible. This Meng was obviously such a figure. Without confidence, going up would only be embarrassing. I'll go. After a while, a young man in a red robe flew onto the fighting ring. Everyone recognized that this person was a Wang family half-deity level Heaven's Pride, his strength extremely powerful. Boom. The Wang clan's Heaven's favorite shouted and dashed towards the bloody light. Clang. The sound of swords filled the air as the blood-red sword chi increased in intensity. Blood chi exuded from Meng's body as he engaged in a fierce battle with the Wang clan's Heaven's favorite. The Heavenly Corpse sect's blood intent is extremely powerful. The Wang family is no match for them. Lu Ming shook his head. Sure enough, after a dozen or so moves, the Wang clan's prodigy was no match and was at a disadvantage. After a few more moves, he was beaten until he spat out large mouthfuls of blood and was defeated. Who else wants to fight? Meng continued to challenge Lin Fan with disdain in his eyes. Damn it, I'll fight you. A tall and sturdy young man roared and rushed onto the stone platform. However, this young man was even weaker than the geniuses of the Wang clan. In less than 10 moves he was defeated. For a moment no one went up to fight. It's a pity that Luan Fengyun was defeated. Originally, Luan Fengyun was an important battle force at the 5th level of the Spiritual Sea Realm. He might be the strongest at the 5th level of the Spiritual Sea Realm and might be able to fight against Lin Fan. Now that Luan Fengyun's arm is broken, no one at the 5th level of the Spiritual Sea Realm can fight. Whispers of discussion could be heard all around. Luan Fengyun is nothing. Let me teach him how to behave. After the fatty heard this, he was instantly displeased. He grinned, carried his battle axe and stepped onto the stone platform. Lu Ming and the others smiled, not worried about the fatty. In a battle of the same level, the fatty would not lose unless he encountered a prodigy who had awakened a divine bloodline. Brat, you're very arrogant. You want me to serve you? The fatty held the battle axe in one hand and spun it a few times in the air. The battle axe was like a door plank, bringing with it a gust of wind. He looked at Meng provocatively, looking like a cocky expert. Can this fatty do it? Some people expressed their doubts. He should be able to, right? Back at the 100 Supremes Mountain, this fatty and Lu Ming fought against the experts of the Luan family and Jiang family together. The battle strength they displayed was also extremely powerful. Some people replied. Some people looked at the fatty with hope, hoping that he could win this round. Fight. Meng was very straightforward. The blood-red sword chi soared into the sky and slashed towards the fatty. Nest, I haven't even called for the fight to start and you've already attacked. You're cheating. The fatty shouted and spun the battle axe in his hand, blocking in front of him. Dang. Meng's sword chi pierced the fatty's battle axe, and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. How dare you sneak attack me? Take this. The fatty's battle axe shook, and Meng felt a strong force. His expression changed and he could not help but retreat. Once he retreated, what welcomed him was the fatty's storm-like attacks. The battle axe was like a whirlwind, continuously slashing towards Meng. Every strike seemed to be able to split the sky. Meng's expression changed drastically. He tried his best to block, but every time he blocked a strike he would take a step back. After 10 consecutive strikes, Meng spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. He won. The fatty had won with an overwhelming momentum. Many people did not even have time to react. Ah, you're so weak. The fatty laughed loudly. Great. Fatty, you're amazing. Many people laughed, revealing a carefree expression. They had finally won a match. They had lost too many matches in the past 2 days. Because they were caught off guard by the Heavenly Corpse sect, they had lost many matches in a row. Now they had finally won a match. Since this fatty is standing next to Lu Ming, he naturally won't be bad. Birds of a feather flock together. Those who can walk together are most likely geniuses of the same level. Indeed. The surrounding discussions made the fatty feel even more comfortable. Haha, Heavenly Corpse sect, do you have any stronger people? Send them out quickly. I'll take care of them one by one. The battle axe in the fatty's hands swayed back and forth, causing a strong wind to howl. Blood Sword 19 snorted coldly. This time, among the prodigies in the 5th level of the Spirit Sea Realm that he had brought, Meng was the strongest. He had thought that by catching the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace off guard, they would be able to win consecutively and dampen the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace's morale. However, he had not expected a fatty to appear out of nowhere. "Have you awakened a god-tier bloodline?" Bloodsword 19 asked coldly. If the fatty was a god-tier prodigy who had awakened a god-tier bloodline, then even if he won, there would be no glory. Nonsense. If I had awakened a god-tier bloodline, why would I need to use so many moves to defeat him? One move would be enough. The fatty curled his lips. "Alright, you win this match," Bloodsword 19 said. He then looked at Long Chenli and said, "Long Chenli, why don't we have a battle between god-tier prodigies?" As soon as these words came out, everyone's hearts trembled and their eyes lit up. The main event was coming. It was finally the battle between the god-tier prodigies. Awakening a divine-grade bloodline and not awakening a divine-grade bloodline were two completely different concepts. Most of the prodigies had only awakened a king-tier bloodline, and many of them were only at the 9th level of the king tier. Chapter 825. The last time the list of top 1,000 talents was ranked, only the top 300 had awakened the divine bloodline. 300, including the Talisman Puppet Sect, the Heavenly Corpse Sect, and the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, the three hegemons of the three great treasure realms. There were hundreds of regions, but such a large territory only had 300 people. Even if there were some rising stars, there would not be too many of them. Therefore, under normal circumstances, it was rare to see a duel between divine-level talents. Clashes between god-grade geniuses would only occur before the Battle of Providence. As time passed and the Battle of Providence drew closer, the number of clashes between god-grade geniuses would definitely increase and become more intense. "Haha, Bloodsword 19, are you finally going to fight? I'll keep you company." Long Chenli laughed and stepped out, landing on the stone platform. "Long Chenli, you've misunderstood. I'm not going to fight but one of my junior brothers. Guiyu, go ahead." Bloodsword 19 smiled. Swish. As soon as Bloodsword 19 finished speaking, a figure flashed and appeared in front of Long Chenli. So fast. Many people were shocked. They did not see when Guiyu appeared in front of Long Chenli. It was as if he had been standing there the whole time. Long Chenli frowned and said, "You're Guiyu?" "That's right," Guiyu said calmly. He looked very young, no more than 25 years old. Many people's eyes flashed because the name Guiyu was unfamiliar. He was not on the list of top 1,000 talents at all. He should be a rising talent. "Let's fight." Long Chenli was not careless at all. A strong aura emanated from his body, and a long black spear appeared in his hand. He was at the peak of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Like Wang Haoxin, Long Chenli's cultivation had also reached the peak of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. He stared at Guiyu with bright eyes. Since Guiyu dared to fight with him, he must be a divine-level talent. Long Chenli did not dare to underestimate him. To his surprise, Guiyu shook his head and said, "You're no match for me." As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd went into an uproar. This guy is so arrogant. He didn't even fight and said that Long Chenli is no match for him. He's too narcissistic. That's right. Who is Long Chenli? A god-tier genius. How dare he boast so shamelessly? Damn it. Brother Long, teach him a good lesson. Some people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace roared in anger, feeling extremely indignant. "Come on, we haven't fought yet. You're too full of yourself." Long Chenli's eyes also revealed a trace of anger. To think that he would be looked down on even before the battle had even started. As a genius, it was only natural for him to feel displeased. Clang. A scimitar appeared in Guiyu's hand as she said, "I already said that you're not my opponent. If you add her, then it'll be a little more interesting." Then he pointed his scimitar at Wang Haoxin. "Wang Haoxin, you're also a god-tier genius. Come at me together. You and Long Chenli together. I'm interested in fighting," Guiyu said faintly. His tone was not loud, but it revealed his strong confidence. Wang Haoxin frowned, and his eyes revealed a trace of sternness. Since he was being challenged in public, there was no reason for him not to fight. She looked at Lu Ming. If she wanted to fight, she had to get Lu Ming's approval. "If you want to fight, then go ahead." Lu Ming smiled slightly. This made many people's jaws drop. If Wang Haoxin wanted to fight, she had to get Lu Ming's approval? Could it be that Wang Haoxin had been conquered by Lu Ming and had become Lu Ming's woman? Many people could not help but have this thought. They looked at Lu Ming with a hint of jealousy and envy. Many people even showed a look of admiration. Even a woman like Wang Haoxin could be conquered. It was admirable. Xian Yanqing suddenly snorted in displeasure, and his lips curled up. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose, pretending not to see it. Wang Haoxian nodded, took a step forward, and appeared on the stone platform. Long Qianli, since he wants to challenge me, then let's fight, Wang Haoxian said coldly. Her body exuded a terrifying heat and purple flames burst out. Well, since this person is so confident, I'm afraid he has some ability. Be careful. Long Qianli sent a message to Wang Haoxian, and the aura on his body became stronger. He pointed his long spear at Guiyu and said, "Make your move." Hee, interesting. Guiyu sneered, and a black light burst out from his body. In the black light, there were countless people screaming, emitting a horrifying aura. Kill. Guiyu shouted, and his body disappeared in a flash. The next moment, a cold light slashed at Long Qianli's throat. Without a doubt, Guiyu's cultivation was also at the peak of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Long Qianli's long spear shook, and instantly whipped forward, clashing with the blade light. With a dang, the blade light was repelled, but in the next moment, the blade light appeared at Wang Haoxian's throat again. Wang Haoxian punched out continuously, and the blazing fist light burned everything. Boom. The blade light was defeated, and a figure appeared in front in a flash. It was Guiyu. You have some skills. Now let's get to the main topic. As soon as Guiyu's voice faded, endless black qi filled the air. In the black qi, there were bursts of ghostly cries and wolf howls. On the stone platform, many people's faces turned pale, and they spat out blood. They were horrified and they quickly retreated, roaring, "This is the evil ghost intent domain, don't get too close." Many people quickly retreated, and they only dared to stop when they were far away. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a Zhenyuan wall appeared in front of him, blocking the evil ghost intent domain. The evil ghost intent domain was extremely strange. Through the ghostly cries and howls, it could affect people's souls and minds. It was a type of intent domain that was similar to sound waves. Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian's expression became serious, and they both burst out their intent domain to resist. Kill. At the same time, the two of them attacked at the same time. Violent attacks were launched at Guiyu. Ghost Moon Blade Art. Guiyu whispered. His body trembled and he disappeared again. In the next moment, on the stone platform, countless blade lights suddenly flashed, and they continuously slashed at Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian. Each blade light was extremely powerful and they were extremely fast. Moreover, the angles were extremely tricky and no one knew where they would come from. It was as if blade light could come from any corner of the stone platform. What a strange cultivation technique. Lu Ming's eyes flashed and he stared at the stone platform. Guiyu's attack naturally could not escape his eyes. He found that Guiyu's body seemed to have merged with the evil ghost intent domain. Wherever the evil ghost intent domain spread, his body could reach in an instant. It was fast and ruthless and extremely strange. In order to break this kind of attack, one could only use a strong method to break the evil ghost intent domain. Obviously, Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian had also thought of this. With a dragon roar, a three-headed demon dragon appeared above Long Qianli's head, and a golden chakra was extremely dazzling. Chapter 826. In the next moment, Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian used their bloodline fusion and turned into a three-headed dragon and a purple firebird. The three heads of the three-headed dragon roared and its dragon claws tore forward as if it could tear the world in half. As for the violet flame bird, it cried out and spat out a violet flame that burned everything in its path. Boom. The space shook and countless blade lights exploded. The evil ghost intent was defeated and Guiyu's body appeared as he floated back. You've used all your trump cards. Then come. As he sneered, a moon appeared above Guiyu's head. However, this moon was extremely strange. It was actually black and there were ghostly shadows flickering on it. However, this was not the most shocking thing. What was shocking was that there were two golden chakras on the black moon that emitted dazzling golden light. Two golden chakras, a rank 2 divine realm bloodline. Guiyu actually had a rank 2 divine realm bloodline. No wonder he was so arrogant. Shwa. Guiyu's body flashed and his body merged with the black moon. The moon shook and an endless amount of black light was emitted. Every ray of black light seemed to be a blade light that spread towards Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian. A dragon roar sounded and the three heads of the three-headed dragon spat out attacks of three different attributes. There were flames and lightning that spread forward. The purple firebird flapped its wings and flames spread out. It was as if space was going to be burned through. Boom. Boom. In the sky there was a violent roar. The stone stage below was instantly reduced to ashes. In the previous battle, everyone had intentionally controlled their energy to prevent the stone stage from being destroyed. However, they could no longer control it now. The surrounding people retreated once again. Only Lu Ming, Bloodsword 19, and a few others remained still. Suppress. A cold shout came from the pitch-black moon. Everyone saw that the pitch-black moon was shining with a black light. It was like a ghostly moon falling towards Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian. Boom. With an intense explosion, the three-headed dragon and purple firebird were sent flying far away. They then rapidly shrank and turned back into Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian's true bodies. The two staggered back with pale faces and spat out mouthfuls of blood. Defeated. The two of them were defeated by Guiyu. He kill? The black moon laughed coldly and continued to press down on Wang Haoxian and Long Qianli, emitting terrifying fluctuations. Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian had both been defeated, yet Guiyu was still attacking. Was she trying to kill them? Despicable. Shameless. Stop. They've all lost. Around them many people roared. However, the pitch-black moon did not seem to have any intention of stopping. It continued to bombard them. Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian roared angrily and attacked. However, the two of them were already injured and had reverted to their true forms. Their strength was also somewhat weaker, so how could they block the attack? Immediately, the two of them were sent flying, drawing out two deep craters on the ground. Their faces paled as they coughed out another mouthful of blood. However, the pitch-black moon continued to press down. Despicable. How dare you attack me? Angry roars could be heard from the surroundings. Bloodsword 19 sneered. The pitch-black moon emitted a boundless might as it continued to press down. However, right at that moment, a figure suddenly appeared under the pitch-black moon. A palm strike was sent towards the pitch-black moon. Boom. The space seemed to be split apart, emitting a loud rumbling sound. The pitch-black moon shook violently and was then sent flying into the sky by a terrifying force. This scene fell into the eyes of the crowd as if a person was striking the moon. A palm strike sent the moon flying. Everyone looked at the figure in shock. It's him? Lu Ming. A name appeared in everyone's mind. This figure was Lu Ming. Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian had already been defeated, but Guiyu was still attacking. Therefore Lu Ming stepped in to stop her. It's you? How dare you stop me? I'll kill you too. An angry roar came from the pitch-black moon. The black light shone brightly and those lights were like blades. However, Lu Ming stretched out his palm and those blades were all shattered. Whoosh. Lu Ming took a step forward, approaching the moon and struck out with his palm. Bang. The pitch-black moon was like a rubber ball that was sent flying into the sky by Lu Ming's palm strike. Whoosh. Lu Ming took a step forward, his body like a stream of light, instantly rushed into the sky and appeared above the black moon. A terrifying devouring power burst out from his left hand, enveloping the pitch-black moon and causing it to shake violently. What's going on? My bloodline. The pitch-black moon let out a scream of horror. Bang. In the next moment, Lu Ming struck the pitch-black moon with his palm. The pitch-black moon instantly burst like a black balloon. Guiyu's figure emerged and fell towards the ground at an extremely fast speed. Tuck. Lu Ming took a few steps forward, his body like a meteor, falling at an extremely fast speed. Violent energy blasted on Guiyu's body. Boom. Guiyu's body heavily hit the ground. Suddenly the earth shook, gravel splashed and smoke filled the air. How is it? Everyone's eyes stared at the place where the smoke and dust filled the air. When the smoke and dust cleared, everyone saw a huge pit that was a few hundred meters wide and dozens of meters deep on the ground. Lu Ming's body stood straight in the middle of the pit. One of his feet was stepping on Guiyu's face. Guiyu was lying in the pit like a dead fish, his mouth was constantly vomiting blood and his body was twitching non-stop. Guiyu had completely fainted. His body twitching was just an instinctive reaction. The scene suddenly quieted down, so quiet that only the sound of people gasping could be heard. Guiyu, who was incomparably arrogant and had defeated Long Qianli and Wang Haoxian, was now being stepped on by Lu Ming like a dead fish. It was a tragic sight. From the beginning to the end, less than a minute had passed. The impact on everyone was too strong. Crushing, this was a complete crushing. In the next moment, the scene erupted into loud cheers. Haha, good hit, good step. This is too good. Wasn't this Guiyu very arrogant? A new rising prodigy who wanted to step on the older generation's prodigies is now a dead fish. Dare to be arrogant in Nine Dragon City? Don't you know how to write the word death? Many people laughed heartily as they expressed their happy thoughts. Long Qianli looked at Lu Ming with shock. He had just fought with Guiyu and knew how terrifying Guiyu was. He and Wang Haoxin were still crushed, but Guiyu was easily defeated by Lu Ming. Lu Ming had not even activated his bloodline, and had easily defeated Guiyu in his normal state. What was even more terrifying was that Lu Ming's cultivation was only in the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm. He did not crush Guiyu with his profound cultivation, but with pure battle strength. Long Qianli smiled bitterly. It had only been half a year. Half a year ago he did not put Lu Ming in his eyes. The reason why he brought them out of 100 Supremes Mountain was because of Lu Ming and the others' righteous behavior, as well as Ruan Tingting's sake. Chapter 827. Lu Ming was very calm. There was nothing to be proud of. He wasn't afraid of anyone at the same level. Although Guiyu's bloodline was at the 2nd level of the divine realm, his bloodline martial technique couldn't be at the upper grade demigod level like his. Guiyu's martial technique was only at the lower grade demigod level. Even if Guiyu's martial technique was also at the divine realm, he was still crushed by Lu Ming at the same level. Lu Ming didn't even use his dragon power or bloodline fusion to defeat Guiyu. At this moment, Lu Ming looked at Blood Sword 19. Do you still want to fight? Lu Ming stepped on Guiyu and asked Blood Sword 19. Suddenly, everyone looked at Blood Sword 19. Lu Ming's intention was clear. He was challenging Blood Sword 19. Then would Blood Sword 19 dare to accept the challenge? Blood Sword 19's face turned ugly. His cultivation was at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm, the same as Long Qianli and Wang Haoxin. His bloodline was also at the 1st level of the divine realm. His battle power was similar to Long Qianli and Wang Haoxin. Guiyu was crushed. If he went up, wouldn't he be asking for humiliation? Don't think you're so great just because you defeated Guiyu. There are many divine realm geniuses at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm who are stronger than Guiyu. They just didn't come today. Do you dare to go to the gathering half a month later? Blood Sword 19 said coldly. He looks like you don't dare to fight. If you don't dare to fight, just say so. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Get lost. Lu Ming kicked Guiyu, who was like a dead fish, towards Blood Sword 19. A Heavenly Corpse sect disciple walked out and caught Guiyu's body. Let's go. Blood Sword 19 shouted. Then the group of Heavenly Corpse sect disciples ran away. Around them, many people looked at Lu Ming with awe. Crushing Guiyu and forcing Blood Sword 19 to retreat. What kind of power was that? Especially Luan Fengyun and the disciples of the Luan family. They were terrified. Luan Fengyun stared blankly at Lu Ming. He still couldn't believe it. Half a year ago, Lu Ming had been suppressed by him and could only resist with the help of a raise. But half a year later, Lu Ming could easily crush those immortal realm prodigies, let alone him. God-tier bloodline. He must have awakened his God-tier bloodline in the blood pool with the token. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to be so powerful. Thoughts flashed through Luan Fengyun's mind, and then she quietly left with a few young men from the Luan clan. Brother Lu, thank you. Long Qianli stepped forward and looked at Lu Ming with a complicated expression. Brother Long, you're too polite. Lu Ming smiled. Brother Lu, you've truly shocked me. In just half a year, you've actually reached such a level. I'm ashamed. Long Qianli sighed. The fact that Lu Ming could progress so quickly showed that Lu Ming's potential was much greater than his. His future was unpredictable. Just like those who ranked at the top of the list of top 1,000 talents, especially those who ranked in the top 20 or even the top 10, they were all unpredictable geniuses. I'm just lucky. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He brushed it off casually and did not talk about this topic. Long Qianli didn't say much and said, Brother Lu, in half a month's time, there will be an exchange meeting under the divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron in the First Dragon Vein. At that time, apart from the top 100 geniuses of the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect, most of the geniuses will participate. Even those powerful descendants of the Sky Demon Valley will participate. With Brother Lu's combat strength, you will be a great help to our side at that time. Aren't the top 100 prodigies going to participate? And the Talisman Puppet sect? Lu Ming asked curiously. The Talisman Puppet sect has been in decline for the past few thousand years. Although it's still one of the 4 overlords in the eastern wilderness, it can't be compared to the other 3. In the past few hundred years, it's been very low-key and usually doesn't send anyone to participate. It's only during the Battle of Providence that they send their prodigies. Long Qianli nodded and explained. The top 100 prodigies on the list of top 1,000 talents are the key to the Battle of Providence, so they won't reveal themselves easily. Moreover, they're all training and cultivating in secret and dangerous places. They won't appear before the Battle of Providence. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. Brother Lu, I'll take my leave then. Long Qianli said. Then he looked at Ruan Tingting and said, Tingting, are you going to join the Imperial Sky Imperial Guards with me or keep your friends company? Brother Long, you go ahead. I'll stay with Shen, Lu Ming and the rest. Ruan Tingting smiled. All right. Long Qianli nodded. Then he cupped his fists at Lu Ming and the rest and left. Lu Ming, you're so powerful. You're much more powerful than you were half a year ago. Qiao Xian flew in front of Lu Ming, her big eyes blinking as she looked at Lu Ming. Her face was full of admiration and worship. Ahem. Lu Ming coughed a few times and touched his nose. He was a little embarrassed by Qiao Xian's gaze. Pervert, let's go. Xian Yinqing walked over and snorted. She took Lu Ming's arm and pulled him forward. Xian Yinqing is jealous. Qiao Xian's voice came from behind. Of course. Shen, you're too naughty. You didn't see if Yinqing was here. Ruan Tingting's soft voice came. Tingting, come, I'll hold your arm. Fatty said. Go away. Go away. Ruan Tingting's voice came, followed by Qiao Xian's bell-like laughter and Fatty's sigh. Wang Haoxin looked at Lu Ming and the rest with a complicated gaze. Then she followed. The group headed towards the Sea Cloud sect. Next, the group went on a scenic tour and occasionally stopped to cultivate. They were all young people. After not seeing each other for half a year, they had a lot of common topics to talk about and got along well. Even Xian Yinqing became more talkative. During this period, Lu Ming's spirit was not too tense. It was rare for him to relax. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. There were only 3 days left before the exchange between the Sky Prides of Sky Demon Valley, Sky Corpse Sect and Sky Corpse Sect. Lu Ming, are you going to the exchange? Ruan Tingting asked. Of course I'm going. The Sky Prides of the 3 Overlord forces will gather. It's such a rare event that I can't miss it. Besides, I also want to see the powerful descendants of Sky Demon Valley. Lu Ming said. Sky Demon Valley could be said to be the oldest force in Eastern Wilderness. It had existed since ancient times and was much older than Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and Talisman Puppet Sect. Sky Demon Valley was completely composed of demonic beasts. There were countless powerful demonic beasts and countless descendants with divine beast bloodlines. They were extremely powerful. Some people said that Sky Demon Valley was the strongest force in Eastern Wilderness. It was even stronger than Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Besides, in every generation Sky Demon Valley would give birth to many descendants with divine beast bloodlines. These descendants were undoubtedly the Sky Prides of the demonic beasts. Their combat strength was extremely terrifying. That's great. Let's set off together. If you arrive early you can rest there. Ruan Tingting said. Tingting, can I go too? Qiao Xian blinked her big eyes. Among them, Qiao Xian was much weaker and could not be considered a Sky Pride. Chapter 828. Let's go together. I'll kick anyone who doesn't let you in. Lu Ming laughed. Qiao Xian was overjoyed. Qiao Xian told her father, Qiao Long, and Qiao Long agreed wholeheartedly. If Qiao Xian could participate in such a gathering, it would definitely increase her knowledge and insight. It would also be very helpful for her future cultivation. Immediately, the group flew toward the center of 9 dragons. The journey of tens of millions of miles was not far for them. They chatted as they flew. They arrived in less than a day. Tens of thousands of miles away, they could see a majestic mountain range meandering on the ground. It was one of the 3 dragon veins in the center of 9 dragons. After traveling for tens of thousands of miles, countless buildings appeared in front of them. There were all kinds of palaces, pavilions, and even shops. They could not see the end of it. It seemed to be a city. However, this city had no walls. Instead, it was filled with countless buildings. People came and went in the buildings. It was very lively. The group walked in and found restaurants, inns, and shops. There were all kinds of things. There were countless people in 9 dragons and the land was vast. There were many special gathering places. Some places had city walls such as Jianghu City. Some places did not even need city walls just like what they saw in front of them. The group strolled on the streets. Tingting, is the gathering on the dragon veins? Lu Ming asked. Yes, and it's at the dragon's head, under the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Why don't we go and take a look first? Wan Tingting said. Okay. Lu Ming was also curious. The group passed through the buildings and flew toward the dragon's head. Soon they arrived at the dragon's head. There was an extremely wide plain at the dragon's head. In the middle of the plain there was a huge battle platform. There were many seats around the battle platform. According to Wan Tingting, this was the place where the Emperor Deity Palace used to hold grand events in the past. For example, there were sacrifices to the heavens or competitions between geniuses. Therefore, the exchange meeting a few days later was also held here. However, this was not what attracted the group's attention. Their attention was completely attracted by a huge cauldron in front of the open space. At the very front of the dragon head was a huge cauldron. The cauldron was pitch black and as big as a mountain. It towered into the clouds and was at least a few thousand meters tall. Looking from afar, the cauldron looked incomparably majestic. One could see numerous lifelike true dragons circling around it. This is the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. There is a Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron at the head of each of the 9 dragon veins. Legend has it that the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron was already there when Nine Dragon City was founded. No one knows how many years have passed since then. It is said that the ancient experts used it to suppress the 9 dragon veins. Wan Tingting said. A supreme treasure? Why didn't anyone take it away? Lu Ming asked curiously. No one can take it away, not even an Emperor realm expert. The Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron has been in the world for a long time. It seems to be connected with the dragon vein and has existed since ancient times. Wan Tingting said. Lu Ming was shocked, looking at the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron in the distance. As for the fatty, Xian Yanqing, Qiao Xian and the others, although they had heard of it before, it was their first time seeing it. They were also amazed. The 9 cauldrons were carved with true dragons and connected with the dragon vein. They were thousands of meters tall and had existed since ancient times. It was indeed a magnificent sight. Lu Ming and the others were not the only ones nearby. Many others stopped to watch. Over there, it seems like someone is approaching the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. Xian Yanqing said. The others also saw a burly young man walking step by step toward the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. The Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron emits a great pressure. If you are not an expert, you can't get close to it. Wang Haoxin, who had been silent, said. Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming said and strode forward. When they were 10,000 meters away from the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron, they felt a great pressure coming from the cauldron. At this moment, Lu Ming raised his eyebrows and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. When he was 10,000 meters away from the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron, he suddenly felt something strange with the 9 dragons' bloodline. It seemed to be anxious and excited. What's going on? The 9 dragons' bloodline is strange. Is it because of the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron? The Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron is engraved with true dragons to suppress the dragon vein. Maybe it really is related to the dragons. That's why the 9 dragons' bloodline is acting strange. Lu Ming guessed in his heart. They continued to move forward despite the pressure. Soon, Qiao Xian could not stand it anymore and stopped moving forward. Lu Ming and the others continued to move forward. The closer they got, the more they felt the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron was grand and majestic. It was full of vicissitudes as if it had crossed time and space from ancient times. In Lu Ming's body, the 9 dragons' bloodline seemed to be more anxious and excited. The power of the bloodline seemed to be boiling. Bam! Bam! In front, a burly young man kept moving forward. His body was muscular and his blood chi was soaring. The blood chi vaguely formed a dragon that was roaring. That's not a human. It's a demon. It's a dragon. Xian Yanqing said. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He also saw that the burly young man in front of him was not a human, but a dragon. He should be a genius from the Sky Demon Valley. A level 6 beast that could transform. The young man from the demon clan moved forward step by step and finally walked under the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. He glanced at the cauldron and stretched out his hands to hug a corner of the cauldron. Haha, that dragon is really whimsical. It wants to hug the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. Dream on. That's a treasure that even emperors can't touch. In the distance, someone sneered. Sure enough, the dragon looked up to the sky and roared, but the cauldron did not move. In the end, the dragon even showed its true form. It was a crimson dragon that was more than 200 meters long. Its claws grabbed the cauldron, but the cauldron still did not move. In the end, the dragon had no choice but to turn back into a human and retreat step by step. At this time, the nine dragons' bloodline in Lu Ming's body became even more violent, as if it was about to rush out of his body. Lu Ming's mind moved and he controlled the nine dragons' bloodline. He could not let it appear here. Otherwise it would be troublesome if word got out. Immediately Lu Ming retreated. At this time, the nine dragons' bloodline seemed to let out a shocking roar. This roar sounded in Lu Ming's body, but the others could not hear it. But at this moment, a shocking scene happened. Dong. The divine nine-dragon cauldron in front of them suddenly shook. Suddenly, the dragon veins shook, the wind and clouds changed, and a terrifying pressure erupted from the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Oh no, retreat. Lu Ming and the others hurriedly retreated. After retreating 10,000 meters, the pressure was much less. After the divine nine-dragon cauldron shook for a while, it fell silent again as if everything just now was an illusion. However, the scene had already exploded. Chapter 829. The divine nine-dragon cauldron, which even emperors couldn't touch, moved. What? Why did it suddenly move? Countless people guessed in shock. Many people had even sent the news back to the elders in their families. Is it because of the nine dragons' bloodline? The divine nine-dragon cauldron moved because of the nine dragons' bloodline? Lu Ming guessed in his heart. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Lu Ming said. He estimated that a big shot would come soon to check on the situation. After all, the divine nine-dragon cauldron, which hadn't moved for thousands of years, suddenly moved. It was too abnormal. Bang. Suddenly, a tall figure descended behind Lu Ming and blocked Lu Ming's way. It was the flood dragon of the demon clan. Sir, why are you blocking my way? Lu Ming frowned. The flood dragon exuded a powerful aura as it stared at Lu Ming with a look of surprise and greed. Your bloodline is very special. Let me take your bloodline and I'll spare your life. The flood dragon said coldly. It was extremely overbearing and greedy. It seemed to have sensed the abnormality of the nine dragons' bloodline in Lu Ming's body. Nest, is there something wrong with this reptile's brain? Who does he think he is? He wants to take my bloodline as soon as he opens his mouth. Fatty was furious when he heard that. He stared at the flood dragon unkindly. How dare you be so arrogant here? This is Nine Dragons City? Ruan Tingting also said coldly. How dare you insult me? You're courting death. The flood dragon shouted coldly with a cold light in its eyes. Nest, this stinky reptile is still so arrogant. I suggest that we kill him and barbecue him. Fatty shouted and swallowed his saliva. You're courting death. The flood dragon shouted angrily and threw a punch at Fatty. I'm not afraid of you. Fatty raised his battle axe and charged forward. The axe whistled as it chopped down. Clang. The flood dragon's fist hit Fatty's battle axe. With a loud bang, Fatty's expression changed. His fat shook violently as he retreated 7 or 8 steps and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This flood dragon's level reached the peak of the 6th level of the 6th level, which was equivalent to the peak of the 6th level of the spiritual C tier, while the Fatty was only at the 5th level of the spiritual C tier. None of you can leave today. The flood dragon's eyes glinted coldly. The bloodline purity of this serpent dragon has reached 20%. It's incredibly powerful. Wang Haoxin appeared beside Lu Ming and said, depending on the purity of the bloodline of the celestial beasts, one's talent and strength would differ as well. Ordinary descendants were said to have the bloodline of a divine beast, but it was very thin. It might only be 1% or a few tenths. Those that could reach 1/10 of the concentration were extremely rare. Such descendants were extremely powerful and could even contend with god-ranked geniuses who had awakened their god-ranked bloodline. The serpentine dragon before him possessed the bloodline of the pure-blooded dragon, and it had already achieved 20% of its bloodline. As for the flood dragon that Lu Ming had met on Jinsha Island in the chaotic astral ocean, it contained at most a few tenths of a true dragon's bloodline. Bang! The flood dragon stepped towards Lu Ming. On the side, Xian Yanqing and Wang Haoxin were about to make a move. Let me. Lu Ming waved his hand and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Boom. The flood dragon was very domineering and it threw a punch at Lu Ming. Since you don't want to hand it over, I'll take it myself. The flood dragon's mouth curled into a sinister sneer. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent and he said, Fatty, I'll eat the meat of the flood dragon tonight. Then he took a step forward and threw out a palm. The palm and the flood dragon's fist collided. Bang. There was a dull roar in the air, and then the flood dragon's expression changed drastically. Its body trembled and it retreated. Dong. Lu Ming took a step forward, and in an instant he was 100 meters away. He caught up with the flood dragon and threw out another palm. Brr. The flood dragon roared and turned into a 200-meter-long crimson flood dragon. Its scales were dense and its dragon claws were as sharp as knives. It tore at Lu Ming. Lu Ming threw out another palm and it collided with the flood dragon's claws. The flood dragon roared, and its huge body frantically retreated. One of its finger bones was broken by Lu Ming. This flood dragon had 20% of the bloodline of the true dragon, and its strength was about the same as Guiyu's. Naturally, it was completely crushed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming strode forward, grabbed one of the flood dragon's claws, and with a loud roar, he threw the flood dragon's huge body directly into the air and heavily smashed on the ground by Lu Ming. Boom! The ground shook violently, but the ground here had been suppressed by the divine nine-dragon cauldron for many years, and it was indestructible. The huge flood dragon's body smashed down, and the ground only shook, but it did not break at all. A series of crackling sounds were heard, and the flood dragon screamed. It did not know how many of its bones were broken, and its body was bleeding profusely. Nearby, the others who were watching were dumbfounded. Lu Ming was too violent. Such a powerful flood dragon was like a useless worm in the hands of Lu Ming. Haha, let me do it. Tonight we'll eat flood dragon meat. Fatty shouted, and with a battle axe he chopped at the flood dragon. The flood dragon roared and struggled. The moment Fatty chopped at it, its body continued to shrink. At the same time, its body was covered in a bloody light, like a bloody flame burning. But it was still a step too late. Blood splattered everywhere, and one of its legs was chopped off by Fatty. Whoosh! In the next moment, the flood dragon turned into a bloody light and disappeared in an instant. Lu Ming wanted to let Fatty have it, but when he let his guard down, the flood dragon disappeared. It actually burned the divine beast bloodline in its body. Even if it doesn't die, it's ruined its future. Lu Ming muttered. Just now, the flood dragon's speed increased because it burned the divine beast bloodline in its body. Of course, this was also the reason why Lu Ming let his guard down. Otherwise, even if the flood dragon burned its divine beast bloodline, it would not be able to escape. Next, it actually ran away. Luckily, it left a leg. Fatty shouted gloomily, and ran toward the flood dragon's leg that was dozens of meters long. Haha, let's go back and roast the flood dragon meat. Fatty hugged the flood dragon's leg and carried it on his shoulder. He laughed and his saliva almost flowed out. Nearby, the others were speechless. This group of people, are they really going to roast the flood dragon's leg? Many of them even swallowed their saliva. The flood dragon's meat that contained the true dragon's bloodline was a great tonic. Fatty, let's go back and roast the meat, but you should keep it first. Lu Ming smiled. Fatty kept the flood dragon's leg, and the group left happily. They came to a small mountain hundreds of thousands of miles away, lit a bonfire, and started roasting the flood dragon's leg. Fatty was an elite foodie. His roasting skills were superb, and he always had seasonings like soy sauce, vinegar, oil, salt, and other seasonings in his storage ring. Soon, the flood dragon's leg turned golden. The grease dripped and the aroma filled the air. The flood dragon's meat was cut into pieces, and the group ate heartily. Chapter 830. When the flood dragon meat entered his stomach, it turned into a warm heat that spread throughout his body. There were traces of true dragon bloodline flowing throughout his body, which was extremely beneficial to his physical body and could increase his physical body's strength. If he could eat it for a long time, the benefits would be endless. Ha, Lu Ming, how can there be no good wine when there's meat? Here. Fatty waved his hand and jugs of wine appeared, flying to Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others. Everyone opened the jugs and drank in big mouthfuls. Fatty, I didn't expect your skills to be so good. Ruan Tingting drank a few mouthfuls of wine, but she did not force the wine out of her body. Instantly, her beautiful face flushed red, making her look even more beautiful. Fatty was stunned, almost drooling. Tingting, how is it? Follow me from now on, I guarantee you'll eat and drink well every day. Xian Yanqing, Qiao Xian, and the others looked down on Fatty. This reason was too shallow. Just as Lu Ming and the others were eating and drinking at the dragon's head, under the divine nine-dragon cauldron, many important people came. They received news that the divine nine-dragon cauldron, which had remained motionless for thousands of years, actually moved. They immediately rushed over to check the situation, but unfortunately, no matter what they did, the divine nine-dragon cauldron did not move. They did not know why the divine nine-dragon cauldron moved, so in the end they could only leave it as it was. More than 2 hours later, Lu Ming was full, and the remaining flood dragon meat was put away by Fatty in the name of storage. Just like that, they sat cross-legged on the small mountain peak, each of them cultivating and waiting for the gathering 2 days later. Wang Haoxin did not cultivate, her heart was in a mess. In the past, she was focused on cultivation, and the only person close to her was her younger brother. She did not have any other friends and did not fit in with the other Wang family geniuses. However, over the past few days when she was with Lu Ming and the rest, she felt very relaxed and comfortable. She suddenly felt that she enjoyed such an atmosphere very much. Is this what friends are like? Wang Haoxin muttered, then shook her head, reminding herself that she followed Lu Ming because she had no other choice. If there was a chance, she would still avenge her younger brother. Although she tried to convince herself, her heart could not calm down, and she was not in the mood to cultivate. The others naturally did not know that Wang Haoxin was thinking nonsense. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye 2 days had passed. On this day, the huge platform under the divine nine-dragon cauldron was bustling with people. Young men and women of different temperaments, all of them, flying. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, the fatty, and the group of 6 also came here. They found an area and sat down. So many geniuses. Most of the top 300 god-level geniuses are here. Wang Haoxin looked around and said softly. Wang Haoxin was the only one on the list of top 1,000 talents. Naturally, he knew more people than Lu Ming and the rest. Of course, most of the young people who came were here to watch the show. It was impossible for them to participate in the exchange. This exchange was destined to be a showdown between the top figures. Someone shouted. In the north, a group of more than 200 people, all dressed in long black robes, flew toward them. Of course, they were all young people and there were no seniors. The most eye-catching one was the person flying at the front. He was tall and burly, but he was carrying a coffin on his back. The coffin was pitch black. Even though it was broad daylight and there was a sea of people, everyone still felt that it was eerie and very scary when they looked at it. That's Sure Mo, ranked 102nd on the list of top 1,000 talents. He refined corpses like demons. Wang Haoxin said with a serious face. The other people's faces also turned serious. The 102nd on the list of top 1,000 talents was absolutely terrifying. Obviously, Shurimo was the leader of the Heavenly Corpse sect. The 200 people of the Heavenly Corpse sect stood motionless in the void. Whoosh, whoosh. Just then, from the east, there was a burst of air-rending sounds. Many young people flew through the air. There were about 200 of them. But these young men had different temperaments. Some looked ferocious, some looked heroic, some looked cold, and some looked charming. The clothes they wore were also of all shapes and sizes with all sorts of colors. The demons of the Sky Monster Valley had arrived. The demons of the Sky Monster Valley also stood in the air, looking down at the people below with a powerful aura. Their gazes swept across the entire area with faint disdain. The talents of the Sky Monster Valley had the bloodline of divine beasts. They thought they were superior and looked down on the martial artists of the human clan. It was just a rumor, but now it seemed that it was true. It's that flood dragon. Fatty clicked his tongue and whispered. Among the demons they saw a burly youth. This burly youth had a broken leg. It was the same WRM whose leg was chopped off by Fatty 2 days ago. The flood dragon's eyes were gloomy as he scanned the crowd. The next moment he saw Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others were also in the east. When the flood dragon saw Lu Ming and the others, his eyes were cold and murderous. He whispered a few words in the ear of a young man in red armor beside him. Then, the young man in red armor looked coldly at Lu Ming and the others. Whoosh, whoosh. The flood dragon and the young man in red armor instantly appeared above Lu Ming and the others. A powerful and violent aura burst out and suppressed Lu Ming and the others. What's going on? The others beside him were shocked. Lu Ming and the others sat still. Are you the ones who broke Ao Chen's leg? The young man in red armor said coldly as he looked down at Lu Ming and the others. Flood dragon meat tastes good. Fatty licked his lips and sneered. You're courting death. The young man in red armor shouted angrily. His aura became even more violent as if he was going to kill them in the next moment. The other young men of the demon clan looked on with cold smiles. Friends of the demon clan, the exchange has not started yet. Please go back now. At this moment, a voice came from afar like a breeze. As the voice fell, a figure walked in the air. It was a young man in a green robe. He had sharp eyebrows and was very handsome. He had a gentle smile on his face, but there was an invisible majesty exuding from his body. Di Feng, it's Di Feng. Many people exclaimed. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Di Feng, who was ranked 101st on the list of top 1,000 talents, was said to be the descendant of martial Emperor Di. He had the talent of his ancestor and was extremely powerful. Di Feng. The young man in red armor looked fearful. Di Feng looked at the young man in red armor and the flood dragon. He smiled and said, "Please go back. If you want to fight, we will fight when the exchange begins." Since Di Feng had spoken, the young man in red armor had to give him face. He snorted and looked at Lu Ming and the others. "You broke Ao Chen's leg. I will pay you back double." Chapter 831. Brother Shirimo, Brother Peng, how should we proceed with this exchange? Why don't you give us some suggestions? Di Feng smiled and looked at a young man in golden robes among Shirimo and the beast race. In the Nine Dragon City, the number of prodigies is definitely more than the Emperor Divine Palace. If all of you go up, we will be at a disadvantage. How about this? For each level, each side will send out 10 people and take turns to compete. When one side is eliminated, the side with the most people remaining will win. What do you guys think? Shirimo spoke. His voice was extremely hoarse, like the sound of metal rubbing against each other. Good, that's what I want. The young man in golden robes spoke. Obviously he was the leader of the beast race. Okay, I have no objections. However, forget about the lower 3 levels of the spiritual sea realm. Let's start from the 4th level. How about that? Di Feng said. Okay. Shirimo and the young man in golden robes both nodded in agreement. Since that's the case, let's choose our own candidates. After saying that, Di Feng flew down from the spectator stand and discussed the matter of the candidates with the other human prodigies. This battle was considered the most intense battle before the Battle of Providence. It could be used to test the other side and also to suppress the other side's momentum. The 3 sides didn't dare to be careless and would send out their strongest candidates. After a while, a young man flew over to Lu Ming's side. After flying over, he cupped his fists at Kong Jin and said, "Brother Kong Jin?" "It's me." The fatty was slightly stunned. Brother Kong Jin's cultivation should be at the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Young Master Di Feng would like to invite Brother Kong to participate in the battle of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. The young man said, "Me? Ah, thanks to young Master Di Feng, I agree." The fatty laughed loudly and felt a little smug. With so many people choosing him, he was naturally proud. Lu Ming and the others were moved. It was probably because of the fatty's powerful battle prowess in the battle with the Heavenly Corpse sect. That was why he was invited to participate. Many thanks. The young man smiled and then turned to leave. Why didn't you invite Lu Ming? Ruan Tingting was a little surprised. Logically speaking, half a month ago in the battle with Ghost Moon of the Heavenly Corpse sect, Lu Ming showed even more powerful battle prowess. Why didn't they invite Lu Ming for the battle of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm? Xian Yinqing, the fatty, Qiao and the others were also surprised. I guess they didn't choose Lu Ming's battle prowess because there are too many of them, and they don't know Lu's bloodline level. So, they don? So. Not long after, the candidates from the 3 parties were selected. This time around, our Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace will be the host. Let's start with our Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Di Feng smiled and announced a name. Whoosh. A young man flew to the fighting ring in the middle. His body was as sharp as a blade and his aura was extremely sharp. He was at the peak of the 4th level of the spiritual sea realm. Judging by his cultivation method, he was the Jiang clan's genius. Who will fight with me? The Jiang clan genius looked in the direction of the Heavenly Corpse sect in Sky Monster Valley. Let me. A figure flashed out from the Heavenly Corpse sect and landed in the fighting ring. His aura was also at the peak of the 4th level of the spiritual sea realm. Dong. Without saying anything, the Jiang clan youth stepped forward. His aura was even sharper. He was like a saber. His arm was like a saber and he slashed at the Heavenly Corpse sect youth. The Heavenly Corpse sect youth quickly retreated and distanced himself from the Jiang clan genius. With a wave of his hand, 9 refined corpses appeared in front of him. The 9 refined corpses all exuded an ancient aura. They wore metal armor and held bronze spears in their hands. The aura emitted by the 9 refined corpses had all reached the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. The Heavenly Corpse sect youth was only at the peak of the 4th level of the spiritual sea realm, but he could control 9 refined corpses at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. It was absolutely terrifying. Kill? The Jiang clan genius put on a serious expression and slashed down with his palm. Dong. He clashed with one of the refined corpses and sent it flying. The refined corpse had copper skin and iron bones and it was invulnerable. The Jiang clan genius only sent it flying but he didn't break it. After the refined corpse was sent flying, the other 8 refined corpses pounced on the Jiang clan's genius. 8 long spears pierced through the void, emitting terrifying sonic booms as they charged towards the Jiang clan's genius. The Jiang clan genius looked up to the sky and roared. His whole body emitted a black light, like an extremely sharp divine weapon, and he attacked. The 2 of them were definitely extremely powerful geniuses. Although they weren't god-grade geniuses, their battle strength was absolutely terrifying among those of the same level. The 2 fought fiercely and in the blink of an eye, dozens of rounds had passed. The Jiang clan genius attacked, trying to break through the defense of the refined corpses and kill the Heavenly Corpse sect disciple. The best way to break through the refined corpses was to defeat the person controlling them. However, facing 9 fearless refined corpses that were 2 levels higher than him, it was extremely difficult for the Jiang clan genius to break through. The situation became a stalemate for a while. After more than 100 rounds, the Jiang clan genius's vital energy ran out and he was blasted off the fighting ring, ending in defeat. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace lost the first battle of the exchange, which made many people's faces turn ugly. After the Heavenly Corpse sect youth won, he flew off the fighting ring and sat down cross-legged to recover. He could have continued to fight, but it was obvious that he had consumed a lot of energy. He could only fight again after he recovered. The Heavenly Corpse sect won this battle, so they should send another person to fight. Whoosh. Another Heavenly Corpse sect youth stepped onto the fighting ring. This time, it was the Sky Beast Valley's turn to fight. This time the Sky Beast Valley sent out a tall youth, who was a demonic tiger. He had the bloodline of the divine beast Heavenly Tiger, but the concentration of his bloodline had not reached 10%. Among the demonic beasts, it was extremely rare for their bloodline to reach 10% concentration, just like how it was rare for a human to awaken a god-grade bloodline. However, even though it had not reached 10% concentration, it was close. This demonic tiger was very powerful. After exchanging dozens of rounds with the Heavenly Corpse sect's disciple, he defeated his opponent. In this way the Heavenly Corpse sect and the Sky Beast Valley each won a battle. I will continue to fight. Now it's the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's turn, right? The demonic tiger looked at the many geniuses of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Let me. A youth flew up from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. This time the geniuses were from the top of the 6 ancient clans, the Dongfang clan. They were the geniuses of the Dongfang clan. It was said that the Dongfang clan had 2 god-grade cultivation techniques, which were extremely powerful. Chapter 832. Just like that, the 3 parties took turns to fight, each with their own victories and defeats. Most of the god-level talents on the list of top 1000 talents were at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm, such as Long Qinli and Wang Haoxin, who were at the bottom of the list, were at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Therefore, there were very few god-level talents at the 4th level of the spiritual sea realm. In the end, a new talent appeared in the Heavenly Corpse sect, who had awakened the bloodline of the 1st level of the god level. In the end, the Heavenly Corpse sect won the battle of the 4th level of the spiritual sea realm. This made Di Feng's face turn gloomy. In the past, Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and Sky Demon Valley were about the same in strength, and the Heavenly Corpse sect was the weakest. But this time the Heavenly Corpse sect won the battle. Next, let's start the battle of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Di Feng announced. The battle of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm was more intense, and the power was more terrifying. However, this fighting ring was covered with inscription arrays. Not to mention the spiritual sea realm, even the spiritual embryo realm could not destroy it, so everyone could fight to their heart's content. In the beginning, the battle of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm was also won by each of the 3 parties. But soon, Sky Demon Valley sent out a powerful descendant whose bloodline had reached the 10th level. His combat power was extremely terrifying, and he suppressed the other 2 parties. This person had the bloodline of the ancient heavenly crocodile, and his defensive power was terrifying. 3 people from the Heavenly Corpse sect and Emperor Heaven Divine Palace were defeated by him. Damn it, doesn't our Emperor Heaven Divine Palace have any god-level talents at the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm? The talents on the list of top 1,000 talents seem to have reached the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. If there are any, they must be new talents. Everyone was talking about it. Let me. At this moment, a figure flew into the field. Someone recognized that this young man was one of the Emperor Heaven Forbidden Guards. What was exciting was that this talent had awakened the 1st level of the God-level bloodline, and his combat power was so strong that he fought with the talent of the demon clan. After hundreds of rounds, the battle ended in a draw. Finally, everyone discussed and decided that it was a draw. But what was frustrating was that another young man from Sky Demon Valley went up. This young man was a flood dragon, and his bloodline he had also reached the 10th level. He had consecutively defeated several geniuses of the Heavenly Corpse sect and the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. It can't be. The Sky Beast Valley has so many powerful existences in the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm. Could it be that they are going to lose this battle again? If that's the case, the Heavenly Corpse sect and the Sky Demon Valley will each win a round. This is very disadvantageous for our Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Indeed. The 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm is the battlefield of the deity-grade prodigies. There are many deity-grade prodigies and none of them are weak. It's too difficult to win in the end. It's the same for the 7th layer of the spiritual sea realm. If that's the case, wouldn't our Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace fall behind this time? Many people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were discussing this and feeling worried. I'll go and meet this flood dragon. Maybe I can even get a piece of flood dragon meat. This flood dragon seems to be of the wind attribute. Fatty licked his lips. Everyone else was speechless. Fatty, can you do it? The other party is a descendant with 10% of the divine beast's bloodline. Ruan Tingting was a little worried. The Fatty's 3rd bloodline had yet to be awakened. Would he be able to defeat the other party? Tingting, don't worry. This Fatty isn't that weak. Lu Ming said with a faint smile. Fatty's battle prowess was extremely strong. Before Lu Ming awakened his divine bloodline, he wasn't confident of winning against Fatty. In a battle of the same level, even if the other party had 10% of the divine beast's bloodline, Lu Ming would still believe in Fatty. The previous flood dragon was at the peak of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm and had 20% of the divine beast's bloodline. That was why Fatty was suppressed. Ah, Lu Ming knows me best. Fatty smiled. Carrying his axe, he leaped into the air. Little reptile, let me have a go at you. Fatty chuckled. Fat pig, you're courting death. This flood dragon from the demon race wore a green robe and had a gloomy expression. Ao Feng, cripple this Fatty for me. In the demon race's area, Ao Qian's cold voice rang out. Previously, one of his legs was chopped off by Fatty's axe. What are you shouting for? The flood dragon meat is indeed tasty. There's still some left. After the fight, I'll go back and roast it. Fatty grinned. This time, the demonic beasts were infuriated. Damn it, this Fatty deserves to die. Kill this fat pig. This is outrageous. Many demon race geniuses shouted angrily and looked at Fatty with murderous intent. As for the people from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, they were stunned. Could it be that Fatty really roasted the flood dragon meat? It's true. I saw it with my own eyes. Previously, someone saw Lu Ming and the rest chopping off one of Ao Qian's legs and confirmed it. Many people looked at Ao Qian and realized that he was indeed missing a leg. Instantly, their expressions became even stranger. Fatty, you're dead meat. I'll cripple your limbs. Ao Feng's expression was extremely ugly. Nonsense, eat my axe. Fatty raised his axe and chopped at Ao Feng. A long spear appeared in Ao Feng's hand and stabbed at Fatty. Clang. There was a loud sound and the long spear buzzed. Ao Feng's long spear shook violently. Ao Feng was actually pushed back by Fatty. How can this be? Ao Feng roared and waved his spear again. Sky-suppressing demonic axe. The huge axe in Fatty's hand turned into a heaven-splitting axe and chopped at Ao Feng like a storm. Clang, clang. There were continuous explosions in the fighting ring. The battle axe and the long spear kept clashing. Every time they clashed, Ao Feng had to take a step back. Everyone in the fighting ring was astonished. Fatty obviously had not awakened his divine bloodline. However, he could suppress Ao Feng, whose bloodline was 10% pure. His combat strength was too terrifying. This person's combat strength is extremely strong. Judging from his appearance, he has not awakened his 3rd bloodline. If he can awaken a divine bloodline with his 3rd bloodline, his potential will be limitless. We must think of a way to rope him into our camp. Di Feng said to someone beside him. Martial Monarch De had many descendants. They competed with each other and were divided into many camps. That's right. However, this person has not awakened his third bloodline. If he can't awaken a divine bloodline, everything will be in vain. Another person said. Yes, let's observe him for a while more. Lu Ming, who is with him, and that beautiful lady, Xian Yanqing, are also rare talents. Lu Ming, if I'm not wrong, should have awakened his divine-level bloodline. Di Feng said. Another person nodded. At that moment, Ao Feng roared and transformed into his true form. He then pounced at Fatty. When a beast transformed into its true form, its combat strength could be unleashed perfectly. Worm, watch how I kill you. Fatty shouted. His fat body swelled up and the battle axe in his hand became even more terrifying. It became a heaven-splitting axe and slashed at the serpent. Bang! Bang! A violent collision occurred. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged more than 10 blows. Fatty became fiercer and fiercer as he roared into the sky. Slash. Chapter 833. Ao Feng let out a shrill scream. His huge body struggled crazily and retreated. After a few breaths, he left the fighting ring and turned back into a human, looking at the Fatty with resentment. A huge flood dragon's claw was left on the fighting ring. Damn it, damn it! Ao Feng yelled. Bang! At this moment, a figure fell heavily on the fighting ring, emitting a strong murderous intent. This figure was wearing red armor. It was the young man who provoked Lu Ming with Ao Qian. Damn, Fatty, you've completely pissed me off. The young man in red armor said coldly with a hint of madness in his voice. The aura he emitted was at the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. My name is Ao Kuan. Fat pig, do you dare to fight with me? The young man in red armor stared at the Fatty. Lu Ming frowned. He felt that this young man was not simple. He was indeed at the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, but he was extremely arrogant. He knew that Lu Ming had defeated Ao Qian, but he still dared to provoke Lu Ming. He was definitely not simple. Fatty, be careful. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to the Fatty. The Fatty's eyes flashed and he grinned. Why not? Bang. As soon as the Fatty finished speaking, Ao Kuan stepped forward and threw out a punch. Fast, too fast. Ao Kuan's body and fist seemed to be connected. With a punch, he had already appeared in front of the Fatty. His fist was aimed at the Fatty's arm. He wanted to cripple the Fatty's arm. The Fatty's face changed. He did not expect the opponent to be so fast. At the critical moment, he could only pick up his battle axe to block. Clang. Ao Kuan's fist hit the Fatty's battle axe. The battle axe shook violently, and the Fatty's face changed greatly. His fat body was thrown back. Bang. Ao Kuan stomped heavily on the ground. His whole body was like an ancient ferocious beast, rushing towards the Fatty in a barbaric way. He threw another punch at the Fatty's arm. The Fatty roared. His body swelled and the battle axe was thrown out like the wind. Dong. Ao Kuan's fist was even tougher than divine weapons. When it collided with the battle axe, an oppressive boom rang out. Amidst the intense vibrations, the Fatty let out a miserable groan. He actually couldn't hold on to the battle axe any longer. The battle axe was flung far away, and he retreated madly, coughing up blood. Countless people's expressions changed. This scene was too shocking. Just now, Fatty's battle prowess was obvious to all. While he hadn't awakened his divine bloodline, he had still defeated a flood dragon with 10% divine bloodline, shocking everyone present. But now, in front of Ao Kuan, he didn't have the strength to fight back? Without a doubt, Ao Kuan was also a descendant that possessed a powerful divine beast bloodline. The key question was, just how thick was it that it was so terrifying? Cripple your limbs. Ao Kuan shouted coldly and strode towards Fatty. Fatty, get off the stage and admit defeat. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Fatty. On the side, Xian Yanqing frowned. Ruan Tingting and Xiao Xian's hearts were in their throats. Bam. The Fatty took a step back and his fat body retreated rapidly. However, Ao Kuan's speed was too terrifying. He caught up with the Fatty in an instant, and another terrifying punch was thrown out. There were no extra movements, just a simple punch. However, Ao Kuan's physical strength was too terrifying. Fatty roared and an ancient shield appeared in his hand, blocking in front of him. Boom. Ao Kuan's punch landed on the ancient shield and sent it flying. The ancient shield collided with Fatty's body, almost flattening him. Fatty's body was also sent flying backwards. This time he was directly blasted out of the fighting ring and fell heavily off the fighting ring. Ruan Tingting and Xiao Xian immediately flew over and helped Fatty up. "Fatty, you're not dead, right?" Ruan Tingting asked with concern. Fatty coughed out a few more mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale as he said, "I'm fine, it's nothing. My skin is rough and my flesh is thick. If you're lucky this time." Alcuin stood on the stage, looking down at Fatty and said coldly, "What are you being arrogant for? If I awaken my divine beast bloodline, I'll crush you like a bug." Fatty clamored as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Fatty was not one to suffer losses. This time he was defeated so miserably because he had not awakened his third bloodline. "Fatty, when the exchange is over, I'll take revenge for you." Lu Ming walked over and glanced at Alcuin coldly. Alcuin looked straight into Lu Ming's eyes and smiled coldly. Lu Ming and Fatty returned to the spectator stand. Fatty began to heal his injuries. "Who else wants to fight?" Alcuin looked around and planned to continue to challenge. The arena was silent. Although there were still a few people from Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and Heavenly Corpse sect who had not fought, they were just ordinary geniuses. Alcuin's combat strength was too terrifying. If they went up, wouldn't they be looking for trouble? No one from either side went up. "Let the Sky Demon Valley win this round," Di Feng said helplessly. Sky Demon Valley won the battle of 5th level Spiritual Sea Realm. However, Alcuin did not plan to go down. He looked around and said, "Since that's the case, I'll challenge your 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts." "Come." "What? Your 5th level Spiritual Sea Realm, and you want to challenge 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts? Too arrogant." The surrounding crowd shouted out in displeasure. "Brother Peng, he's 5th level Spiritual Sea Realm. Is he really going to participate in the battle of 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts?" Di Feng frowned and looked at the golden-robed young man. "That's right. Among the 10 5th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts, there's Alcuin's name. Among the 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts, there's also Alcuin's name. Why? It should be okay for a lower level to participate in a higher level battle, right?" The golden-robed young man smiled. "Of course." Di Feng nodded. As long as one was willing, it was okay for a lower level to participate in a higher level battle. Alcuin wanted to participate in the battle of 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm experts with 5th level Spiritual Sea Realm strength. "Who wants to fight?" Alcuin looked around. "I'll do it." A voice sounded. A young man from Emperor Heaven Divine Palace flew up to the battle stage. There was no lack of geniuses in the 6th level Spiritual Sea Realm. Both Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and Heavenly Corpse sect had many experts. This young man was a genius of the Emperor Heaven Forbidden Guard. He had awakened a 2nd level divine bloodline and was extremely powerful. In the next moment, the two figures clashed together. However, the result of the battle was shocking. In just a few moves, the Emperor Heaven Forbidden Guard expert was forced to retreat. In the end, he even used bloodline fusion, but it was useless. He was beaten back to his original form and was blasted off the battle stage while spitting out blood. Everyone was shocked. With a lower level of cultivation, Alcuin defeated a genius who had awakened a 2nd level divine bloodline. That was too terrifying. 50% divine beast bloodline. Di Feng's eyes flashed as he said a shocking result. Countless people gasped. This Alcuin actually had 50% divine beast bloodline. That was too terrifying. It meant that half of the blood in Alcuin's body was no different from that of a divine beast. If a human martial artist could not awaken a 5th level divine bloodline, they would not be able to compete with him at the same level. Even if their cultivation was one level higher, they would have to awaken a 4th level divine bloodline at least. Chapter 834. Fuck, so he has 50% true dragon bloodline. No wonder he's so arrogant. But if I awaken a divine bloodline, I'll definitely beat him. The fatty cursed, but he was very confident. Fatty, keep bragging. You can awaken a divine bloodline above level 5? Ruan Tingting said. There was an uproar and all kinds of discussions were going on. 50% divine beast bloodline was equivalent to a level 5 divine bloodline. Only the top geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Wilderness had such a bloodline. Even Di Feng and Shirimo, the strongest geniuses present, only had level 4 divine bloodline. If Alcuin's cultivation improved, he would immediately be on par with the top 100 geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. Who else wants to come up? Alcuin looked around arrogantly. Everyone was silent. After a while, someone from the Heavenly Corpse sect went up. This person was an extremely famous genius, ranked 189 on the list of top 1,000 talents. He had awakened a level 3 divine bloodline and was at the peak of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. This person fought with Alcuin, and the two exchanged nearly 100 blows. In the end, Alcuin reverted to his original form, which was a 500-meter-long blood-red flood dragon. He was like a real dragon, and with just one blow he sent the genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect flying. He won another round. At this time, both the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect were silent. Was Alcuin going to win the round of the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm as well? There were still a few geniuses from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace who had awakened a level 3 divine bloodline, but the genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect had been defeated. Their level 3 divine bloodline had also been defeated. In addition, there were a few geniuses who had awakened a level 4 divine bloodline, but their cultivation had surpassed the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Both sides fell silent. They did not expect such a terrifying genius to appear in the Sky Monster Valley. Moreover, he was a newly risen genius, and his cultivation was not particularly high. On the list of top 1,000 talents, the geniuses of the same level as him were already very high in cultivation, far exceeding the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Aokun returned to his human form and scanned the surroundings. Suddenly he looked at Lu Ming and pointed a finger at Lu Ming, saying loudly, Aren't you very arrogant? You injured a prodigy of my Flood Dragon tribe and crippled one of his legs. Now I challenge you to a duel. Do you dare to accept? Following Alcuin's finger, almost everyone looked at Lu Ming. Alcuin wanted to challenge Lu Ming? Clearly there was some sort of conflict between the two of them. You want to challenge him? He's not in our list of 10. Di Feng frowned. It doesn't matter. This time it's not part of the competition. It's a personal grudge between us. Alcuin said loudly, then looked at Lu Ming and said, Kid, come up and fight me if you have the guts. If you don't, you can just admit defeat and kneel down and beg for mercy. Lu Ming stood up with a cold smile on his face. He was also a little surprised that Alcuin would take the initiative to challenge him. However, this was exactly what he wanted. Originally he was not in the list of 10, so he could not fight. He was still thinking of finding trouble with Alcuin after the exchange. He did not expect Alcuin to send himself to him. I accept this duel. Lu Ming's figure moved and he appeared in the fighting ring directly. This surprised many people. Alcuin's combat strength was obvious to all. He was extremely powerful. Even if he was one level higher than him, he would be almost invincible. Lu Ming dared to accept the challenge? Where did his confidence come from? Or was he provoked by Alcuin and could not put down his pride? Wasn't this too unwise? Wasn't he looking for a beating by going up the fighting ring? Haha, I didn't expect you to dare to go up the fighting ring. Then do you dare to fight me to the death? A trace of hidden greed flashed in Alcuin's eyes. Last time, Ao Qian told him that there was something in Lu Ming's body that was very tempting to him. It was very likely that it was Lu Ming's bloodline, which made him very tempted. Something that could make Ao Qian unable to resist the temptation was definitely extraordinary. Perhaps it could make the density of his true dragon bloodline reach a higher level. Although Lu Ming had now restrained himself and he could not sense it, he still decided to find a chance to kill Lu Ming and seize Lu Ming's bloodline. Therefore he proposed a life-and-death duel. The people around were also shocked. It seemed that Lu Ming had a deep grudge with the Jiao Dragon tribe. Otherwise, why would Alcuin propose a life-and-death duel? A life-and-death duel was different from the previous sparring. Previously, the sparring would usually end with serious injuries at most. A life-and-death duel would only end when one side died. Would Lu Ming agree? Everyone could not help but look forward to it. A life-and-death duel to determine life and death. Fatty, this whole Jiao dragon meat is enough for us to eat for 10 days to half a month, right? Lu Ming suddenly smiled and looked at Fatty. It's enough. It should be enough if we eat sparingly. Fatty grinned. However, his eyes were a little serious. He secretly sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming, telling him to be careful. He had just felt that Alcuin's power was indeed extraordinary. The conversation between the two stunned the people around. Also, did Lu Ming agree? You're courting death. Kid, do you agree or not? Alcuin said coldly. Why wouldn't I agree when there's Jiao dragon meat to eat? Lu Ming smiled. Alright, if that's the case, then you've agreed. He then die. Alcuin's laughter was full of killing intent. He did not expect that Lu Ming would really agree. He just casually mentioned the life and death duel. He originally thought that Lu Ming would definitely refuse in fear. He was just thinking that if Lu Ming did not agree, he would find a way to trouble Lu Ming after the exchange meeting. He did not expect that Lu Ming would actually agree, which made him overjoyed. Boom. He did not want to delay any longer. He took a big step forward and dashed toward Lu Ming like an awakened primordial beast. He threw a huge punch at Lu Ming. Bang. Similarly, Lu Ming took a step forward and threw a punch at the flood dragon. This shocked many people. Lu Ming dared to take Aoquan's fist with his fist. Everyone had witnessed how powerful Aoquan's fist was. Even a 6th-level spirit weapon would be shattered by him. Yet, Lu Ming actually wanted to fight Aoquan head-on with his fist. How was this possible? Wasn't he courting death? Many people had such thoughts in their minds. Even Ruan Tingting, Xiao Xian, and Wang Haoxin could not help but stare at the fighting ring with a trace of worry in their eyes. On the contrary, Xian Yanqing was the calmest. She had known Lu Ming for so long and knew Lu Ming best. Since Lu Ming was so calm, it meant that he was confident. Under the gaze of tens of thousands of people, the two fists finally collided. Boom. A terrible roar sounded, and a terrible force swept out in all directions with the fists as the center, forming a fierce storm. Many people had to take action to break the storm. Dong. The fighting ring shook violently. Chapter 835. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. The person who was pushed back was Aoquan. Aoquan was pushed back 7 steps by Lu Ming. How was that possible? On the other hand, Lu Ming's body only swayed a little. Their fists collided and Lu Ming actually had the upper hand. Was Lu Ming still human? He was simply a ferocious beast in human form. As expected of a flood dragon with 50% true dragon bloodline. Powerful indeed. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with surprise. His cultivation was 1 level higher than Aoquan's. Moreover, he had used 80% of his true essence. Coupled with the suppressing Hell Heaven skill, which was equivalent to an upper-grade god-level martial skill, it was extremely powerful and overbearing. Not to mention geniuses who were 1 level lower than him, even Ao Chen and Guiyu had been beaten to the point of vomiting blood. However, Aoquan was only pushed back 7 steps. This was the first time Lu Ming had encountered someone with a lower cultivation than him who could block his attack. Lu Ming was shocked. Aoquan was simply shocked. However, after the shock he was filled with endless anger. The Aoquan was a proud son of heaven. His body had the bloodline of a true dragon with 50% concentration. His talent was heaven-defying. However, he was actually defeated by Lu Ming in a head-on clash. This was unforgivable. At that moment, Aoquan let out a dragon's roar. The muscles all over his body tightened and swelled up, supporting his red battle armor. His chi and blood surged to the sky, forming a true dragon that roared in the sky. Dong. He took a step forward and rushed towards Lu Ming. His huge fist was wrapped in a layer of red light and blasted towards Lu Ming. This punch was even more overbearing and shocking. Rumble. True essence rolled in Lu Ming's spiritual sea. The true essence in his body burst out with a tsunami-like sound. He used his fist to push the suppressing Hell Heaven skill and punched out. Boom. The two fists collided for the second time, stirring up gusts of wind. Tens of thousands of pairs of eyes were fixed on them again. This time, who would gain the upper hand? Amidst the howling winds, a silhouette stepped onto the battle stage and retreated. This time it was Ao Kuan who retreated 9 steps. Aoquan was once again pushed back and this time he retreated even further. As for Lu Ming, his figure only swayed a little. Other than shock there was still shock. Lu Ming had actually suppressed Ao Kuan. Within the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, the eyes of Di Feng and the other strongest people flashed. Although they had already heard that Lu Ming easily defeated the Heavenly Corpse Sex Guiyu, they didn't think too highly of Lu Ming. His name wasn't even in the list of 10 in the 6th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. But now they realized that they had greatly underestimated Lu Ming's strength. With Lu Ming's battle prowess, among the experts in the 6th layer of the spiritual ocean tier present, it would be hard to find someone stronger than Lu Ming. The Sky Prides of the Heavenly Corpse sect were also shocked. The most shocked ones were the Sky Prides of the Sky Demon Valley. They knew very well how strong Ao Kuan was. With 50% of the true dragon's bloodline concentration, if Ao Kuan grew up, he would definitely become one of the pillars of the Sky Demon Valley in the future. But now he was suppressed by Lu Ming. Ah, Lu Ming, I want you dead. Ao Kuan roared as his body grew rapidly. Finally, he turned into a 500-meter-long crimson flood dragon. As the dragon roared, a giant claw as big as a mountain clawed at Lu Ming. The space kept shaking. Bang! Lu Ming's fist collided with the flood dragon's claw. His body trembled and he took a few steps back. Ao Kuan, who had transformed into his original form, was stronger in all aspects. Ao Kuan's giant flood dragon body emitted a blood-red light, like the blood intent realm. This was the flood dragon's innate battle technique. He roared and pounced at Lu Ming again. Then I'll suppress you. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. The suppressing prison steel bloodline appeared above his head, and two golden lights shone brightly. Many people were shocked. They were not shocked by how powerful Lu Ming's bloodline was. Instead, they were shocked by how weak his bloodline was. Today, sky prides had gathered and people with divine bloodlines had appeared frequently. Everyone was already numb. A second-grade divine bloodline was nothing. Lu Ming's battle strength was too strong. Everyone thought that Lu Ming's bloodline should be a fourth-grade divine bloodline, or at least a third-grade one. Who would have thought that Lu Ming's bloodline was only a second-grade divine bloodline? It was unbelievable that a second-grade divine bloodline could be so powerful. Buzz! The suppressing prison steel bloodline vibrated. Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and merged with the suppressing prison steel bloodline. The suppressing prison steel bloodline exuded a terrifying pressure. It was vast and heavy as if it could suppress everything. Bang! The suppressing prison steel shook and clashed with the flood dragon's claw. Ao Kuan let out a long roar. His huge flood dragon body trembled like water waves, and he was forced to retreat. The suppressing prison steel continued to vibrate. It flew up into the sky and rapidly grew in size. In the end, it became 10,000 meters tall like an ancient mountain and pressed down on Ao Kuan. Ao Kuan roared as he felt the terrifying pressure. His body was filled with blood chi. With a long roar, he soared into the sky. The dragon soared in the sky, wanting to compete with the suppressing prison steel. Boom! In the end, Ao Kuan was like a worm being pressed down by the suppressing prison steel, and he was sent crashing into the battle stage. Sizzle! A strange sound rang out. It was like a toad being hit by a hammer. Following the strange sound, there was a shrill scream. The battle stage rumbled and heaven and earth shook. Ao Kuan screamed as blood splattered everywhere. He was almost squashed alive. Blood spurted out from his huge mouth. Bang! The suppressing prison steel shook and continued to attack. The sound of bones breaking rang out. Ao Kuan vomited even more blood. The flood dragon's blood dyed the battle stage red. Ao Kuan screamed. He was already half dead, lying motionless on the battle stage. Only his eyes were still filled with shock. The suppressing prison steel shrank and turned back into Lu Ming's figure, standing on the flood dragon's head. Many people gasped in shock. He won. After Lu Ming used the bloodline fusion, he easily defeated Ao Kuan and won. A powerful demon prodigy with a 50% true dragon bloodline concentration was defeated by Lu Ming just like that. It was shocking. Many people were guessing what Lu Ming's bloodline was. Suppressing prison steel? What bloodline was that? They had never heard of such a bloodline. It was too terrifying and powerful. Once he used the bloodline fusion, he easily suppressed Ao Kuan. The divine steel became 10,000 meters tall and suppressed the flood dragon. It was like a legend. Now I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming's cold voice sounded. The infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand, and the sharp tip of the spear was aimed at Ao Kuan's forehead. No help. Ao Kuan roared. He had 50% true dragon bloodline, and he was a peerless genius of the monster race. He didn't want to die. He still had a great future. With his natural talent, it was a certainty that he would advance into the 8th rank and be comparable to the domain enlightened spirit god realm in the future, and it was even to the extent that he could charge into the exalt realm. He had another form of ambition, and that was to charge into the supreme position of the demon emperor and become an expert in the imperial Tao and reign supreme over the world. Chapter 836. This time he came to Nine Dragon City to train himself and see if he could obtain any opportunities. He wasn't here to throw his life away. He had never expected to be in such a situation. He was terrified. Stop! A shrill cry was heard, spreading hundreds of miles away. The golden-robed young man in Sky Monster Valley spoke. Lu Ming, right? I advise you to stop. You win this battle, but you can't kill Ao Kuan. The golden-robed young man's eyes seemed to be golden. He stood in the air with his hands behind his back, looking down at Lu Ming. He exuded a faint majesty, like an emperor looking down on his subjects. This young man was not to be underestimated. Even Shirimo and Di Feng were very polite to him. The demon clan in Sky Monster Valley was unfathomable, and the talents of the younger generation were also very frightening. This was because the demon clan in Sky Monster Valley was not on the list of top 1,000 talents. No one knew how many powerful descendants there were in Sky Monster Valley and how strong their bloodline was. This golden rogue young man was the same. He gave off an unfathomable feeling. Ordinary people would be more or less afraid of him. But Lu Ming did not buy it. He glanced at the golden rogue young man and said, "I can't kill him? Ridiculous. Just now, Aokuin and I agreed to a life-and-death duel. In a life-and-death duel, one side must die. The loser will die. Don't you understand this?" The golden rogue young man's eyes shone brighter, and his body emitted a faint golden light. He said coldly, "I advise you to let Aokuin go. He is a rare talent of the demon clan and the son of a big shot in the Flood Dragon clan. If you kill him, even if you hide in Nine Dragon City with your talent, you will definitely participate in the Battle of Providence. Then, in the Battle of Providence, you will definitely die if you meet someone from the demon clan." This was a blatant threat. In the heavenly demon race, there were many geniuses and they weren't any weaker than the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. In this generation there were even more geniuses. There were all kinds of descendants with a high concentration of bloodline. If they were to target someone in the battle of fate, everyone would be wary. "Hee, after losing you use your backer to threaten me? What a joke." Lu Ming's indifferent voice drifted out as he continued, "I just want to ask, if I lose this battle, will Aokuin show mercy?" Heavenly Monster Tribe quieted down. The demonic beast race had always been tyrannical. If Lu Ming was defeated, how could Aokuin spare Lu Ming? "Your identities are different." After a moment of silence, the golden-robed young man spoke. "Bullshit." Lu Ming only replied with a single word. Boom. His aura erupted as he raised the infinite dragon spear high into the air and viciously stabbed it towards Aokuin's forehead. "No!" Aokuin roared, his huge body trying to struggle. Puff. In the next moment, the infinity dragon spear pierced through Aokuin's forehead. The entire infinity dragon spear went in, and the powerful spear light pierced through Aokuin's huge head. The spear pierced through Aokuin's head. Aokuin roared and his eyes flashed with unwillingness. His huge dragon body struggled for a while and then stopped moving. Aokuin was dead. "Damn it. You're courting death." In the heavenly monster valley, there were several angry roars. Whoosh, whoosh. 3 figures flashed and appeared around Lu Ming. Their violent aura shrouded Lu Ming, peak of the 7th tier of the Spirit Sea tier. These 3 figures were all demon race prodigies equivalent to the 7th tier of the Spirit Sea tier, extremely powerful. In the sky, the golden-robed young man did not move, but the murderous intent on his body was extremely dense and undisguised. The people of the Heavenly Corpse sect looked on coldly with anticipation in their eyes. They hoped that more of the geniuses of the Heavenly Monster Valley and the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would die. In that case, it would definitely be beneficial for the Heavenly Corpse sect. "Brother Peng, this is too much." Di Feng frowned and said. Lu Ming was a genius of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace after all. He could not sit back and do nothing. "That's right. A battle of life and death. Lu Ming killing Aokuin is normal. What do you mean by sending out a few geniuses of the 7th level of the spiritual sea realm? Do you think that there is no one in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Brothers, let's go." Fatty took the opportunity to shout, wanting to encourage the others to help Lu Ming. "Fatty, you are right. Lu Ming is in the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. If you are capable, send out a 6th level spiritual sea realm expert to fight him." Xian Yinqing echoed Fatty's words. "That's right. If you are capable, fight him at the same level." Ruan Tingting and the others chimed in. "It's okay." Lu Ming waved his hand and Fatty and the others quieted down. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with battle intent. He glanced at the 3 of them and said, "If you want to fight, then let's fight. So what if you are 1 level higher? So what if you are 1 level higher?" His voice rumbled and spread throughout the place, filled with heroic spirit. If Aokuin dared to fight an expert 1 level higher, how could Lu Ming not dare to do so? Was it too little for Lu Ming to fight above his level? Even if the other party was an extremely powerful genius, so what? "Fine, you are courting death. Don't move, I will kill him." A blue-robed youth stepped out, with traces of lightning in his eyes. The prison-suppressing steel bloodline reappeared, and the battle intent in Lu Ming's eyes explained everything. The blue-robed youth turned into a large bird, spreading its wings over 30 meters wide. His entire body was filled with dense lightning. This is a lightning bird, possessing the bloodline of the divine beast Thunderbird. This lightning bird already possesses 30% concentration of bloodline power. Exclamations came from all around. Although this lightning bird's bloodline concentration was inferior to Alcuin's, its cultivation reached the peak of the 7th level spiritual sea realm, and its battle prowess was much stronger than Alcuin's. The lightning bird's speed was shockingly fast, like a bolt of lightning flashing past. Endless lightning spread towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming used bloodline fusion and turned into the prison-suppressing steel, colliding with the lightning bird. Boom. The lightning bird was sent flying, retreating far away. However, the prison-suppressing steel also trembled slightly this time. Swish. Then, the prison-suppressing steel enlarged rapidly, continuing to suppress the lightning bird. In the process, a terrifying devouring power burst out from the prison-suppressing steel, covering the lightning bird's cage. What's going on? The lightning bird exclaimed. He felt that the blood in his body was boiling, and under the influence of the devouring power, his strength was greatly weakened. The prison-suppressing steel smashed heavily on the lightning bird. The lightning on his body was dispersed, and he spat out a mouthful of blood filled with lightning. His huge body fell down and smashed into the fighting ring. Everyone was once again dumbfounded. The lightning bird that reached the peak of the 7th level spiritual sea realm was defeated. It was a clean defeat in just a few moves. 2 huge demonic beasts lay on the huge fighting ring. The lightning bird chirped and transformed into its human form. It retreated hurriedly, looking at Lu Ming in horror. The prison-suppressing steel shrunk and turned into Lu Ming's appearance. Next, who will fight me? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.